There we go. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're gonna be doing some dress code stuff today, and I'll be
Yes.
working on the schedule later because some things are still up in the air. In the meantime, I need to grab a mannequin if I don't have it already. Let's see. I think I've got one already for my other forms. I can just arrange it and change it as much as I need. So, school uniforms. We'll be starting with the school store slash cafeteria sort of ordeal first. Because that one is simple enough that it's going to be just easy to bring things about. Can I change this one? Yeah, I can change Orca form real quick. Hold on a moment. I just delete, get rid of the gray layer. Okay, yeah. There's more of a unisex body shape, I guess. Do that layer. Okay. So, I'll save as Akitohi Academy School Store. Okay. So, when you think school store, what do you think usually, Annie?
Well, like nothing super formal, but I'm picturing him wearing like a vest for some reason, with maybe a name tag on it. Would that be more like a typical store, I guess?
Yeah, but I am going to make it sort of like that because the school store in Akitohi Academy is sponsored. It's based on
Oh,
another thing. So I'm going to send you a quick couple things of images because I want to keep sort of a green sort of thing.
okay.
Because green, dark blue, that sort of thing, that works with the school uniform. So having that sort of ordeal with the appearance would be nice. So how do those look?
Oh, aprons.
Yes.
I
With
was thinking more vest, but apron works too. That could work too.
because they will be working with food. Is that
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It reminds me of like that meat deli from where yeah, that store I go to sometimes.
just my computer's been acting a bit slow lately. So we need to lock that and I'll just there real quick. Uh and then blue clothes. This will be just a simple mannequin. There will be like no big facial features or whatever recognized or some other things. It's mostly just gonna be notes and me actually being able to like pick this up later and be like, okay, this is how this looks. Because
That makes sense. If it's supposed to be for the uniform, then the face isn't too important.
yeah, and I can easily just be like, okay, this is how I want to draw people. This is what I want to get from Rose because I'm like Annie. I've told you many times I'm going to get the model for you commissioned from her because obviously, like the full blown one if you like it. Or I'll find another person that you want to go through.
No, no, that's not it. I'm just flustered.
We'll probably just start with like a busting up thing just to like get the gist of it at first, and
Sensei
then
is so nice.
I want to treat you a lot. Anywho,
No.
now
I,
let's
I
see.
just joined and I just heard this. Should I go?
No, you're good if you want to stay.
No, it's fine, it's fine. She's just flirting with me.
I need to change reactive image set because for some odd reason I'm in there.
Okay, that wasn't the right way to put that, but you get what I mean, it's fine.
But hello.
Welcome.
Hello, Lucky.
Let me just try and fix reactive image set. Hi, Ace.
Hello, Ace. I just noticed that I have an artist token next to my name.
Yeah? You've made stuff for me.
It's mostly just fan art, and I don't know if I
You've
actually...
made stuff for me. You've made the horns and you made the hat. You get a pass. Also, hi, Misty. You have an artist token, too. Oh, it even says
I
who's
think
watching
that's
without
the-
audio now. Huh.
Huh.
Oh, wow, that is interesting.
That's new.
Kind of playing around
So
with
they
my mic
aren't
setup, so
watching
I
if
think
they're
it's
watching.
They're
Because I
watching.
heard that if you like... I heard if you like watch a stream without the audio, they don't count that as a view or something.
No, they change it so that's if you're not on the page for long enough now, or it's like if you leave the page and you watch too many streamers. Watching without video. Oh, that's
It
neat.
seems that they're kind of helping a bit. They're trying to be like, oh shit, we're removing the friends feature. Quick, let's add some stuff that we should have added like several updates ago.
Yeah.
That'll distract them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it.
No,
I
okay.
still think that removing the friends thing is stupid.
So Fuji
Yes.
Tech did some screwy stuff where, if you have it where it's labeled as the friends instead of just like, hey, we want this captured except for this one person, it won't do it anymore. So I gotta do it individually again.
Oh dear.
Okay, there you are, Lucky.
I am big now.
You are small.
Big Lucky.
Now I am small.
You are
It's
tiny.
like, I really want there to be like the you know that thing from SpongeBob where it's Plankton and he's like, I can deny it no longer, and it's just him compared to a bunch of like standard objects because I'm small. Kind of want to do like art of me like that, of just like me next to like probably, I don't know, like a textbook or like, you know, a paintbrush or something like that. Just be like, I'm small.
Yeah.
Like, speaking seriously though, how tall are you?
I actually don't know.
3 feet.
Huh.
Like, no, I know I'm definitely above like 5'10", probably.
Oh,
Like,
you're talking about real life. Okay, I was saying for
real
VTuber
life
model.
height.
I meant,
But like
I
my
meant,
VTuber model, I'm pretty small.
But like, how small?
A little bit smaller than Snow, I'd say.
Orca's still
And
going
how
to just
small
pick
is
you up and
Snake?
just hold you by the fingertips, basically.
Yeah, you're just. It's gonna be like just Orca just picks me up and just drags me away.
Anyway.
Also, hello, Misty.
Oh, Misty.
Better than dropping you in her mouth.
Like the BB chocolate for the Valentine's one for summer.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're using Ellie from Yoru Camp because she's got a really good outfit for the grocery store, and I love it.
Yes.
That is indeed a very cute outfit.
For some reason, I want bobblehead avatars. I mean, that could be
like
merch.
Very generic. I want to say it's very generic looking, but it looks good like that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's simple and effective.
Yeah, it's a very, very simple outfit. Like, you can easily just go, where's my stylus?
Like add a pin onto it with like the Academy's like, you know, logo, or have it be a different color. It's very versatile.
yeah.
So, like, kind of bandana-y. Except I'm doing it a bit wrong, hold on.
No,
Is-
so one of the pictures had her hair in like a ponytail or something.
Yeah, because then it can open up a bit in the back. And I'm trying to make it where it's like you can wear the bandana around your head so long as you got like cover on it, but I don't want it to be like, oh, you got a do-rag on.
You want it to kind of encompass a lot of different hairstyles.
Yeah. And obviously
What
you
about the ears? That's the biggest question.
There'll be
that's
holes
a
for
good
them.
point.
something like
But
that.
then you gotta line that up and everything.
Yeah. There'll be ear holes. Or like there could be a version where it's kind of like a skirt where you just tie it around partially.
Mm-hmm.
So just tie that like right back there. I think
Yeah,
maybe
I have to do
some
it, I
slight
don't
flare,
have
but base design is fine. Yeah, slight flare. That's what I'm going for. Like, we got the bandana thing right here. You can just tie it up and just whatever else. Just pretty much just cloth. Oh, hi, Sizzle!
Hello, Sizzle.
There's the snack now.
Yeah, there's a snack. Oh, Nautica was fun, wasn't it?
A snack.
Snack. Yeah, I love the apron. Let's start with that. So we're not going
The
naked.
snack has arrived, and it's looking kind of like a snack.
We do want sort of like a low-lying apron, so how... Like... I like the one I've used for succubus form, but not much different. Trying to make it more unisex, that's what I'm doing. Then we do it like around the middle, basic. With 8. Any objections so far?
No.
Did you say a tie?
With a tie around the waist.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Not
Yeah,
so
I
far.
feel like that would be good. Maybe add like a small pocket.
Yeah, like kind of just pockets like in the apron maybe.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that
maybe
makes
like
sense. Pockets are good.
1 or 2 pockets.
I kind of like the apron over here because like you can see the difference. Like there's no like tie on this one, but this one it looks like it's around her. But this one actually looks like it has a proper tie on it.
Yes.
Yeah, this is for Floof Mart school store. Because
I feel like sorry.
think of it like a modified 7-Eleven for the school itself, but elsewhere it's more normal-ish.
Like the Family Marts.
Yeah, kind of like that, or like a slightly bigger Dollar General, pretty much.
It's like the Japanese 7-Elevens.
Yeah.
I was just going to say at like this rate, it's probably
Akitohi.
Akitohi. I'm sorry.
Akitohi.
Akitohi Academy is going to be a lot like a college campus at this rate with how big it is.
Pretty much is. Like, it's kind of like what you'd expect from like the normal like high school sort of ordeal, but it's also very much we're going to be making it into a decent sized school that fits everyone's needs.
I have a feeling like it's like that. There was a manga that I read. It was like really shitty, but it was just weird in a sense. But this guy was kidnapped and was sent to an all-girls school because the girls constantly were, when they graduated, because they were in like complete isolation from the outside world, they just became neats and just stayed indoors. So they just kidnapped this dude, saying, "Yeah, teach him all about the outside world." And they had like people from colleges like asking, like, "What's a Suica card?"
Oh no.
Like, what is cup
Okay, what
noodles?
is that?
A Suica card is
Like,
basically a
Train
like a
card.
card that you can. Yeah, you basically have this card and you can put money on it and you just kind of tap it.
Pretty much
and
just a
it pays
train
for your
pass.
card. Yeah, but a lot of Suica cards can be used to pay for like stuff in vending machines too.
Yeah. So
I
we
feel like there are a lot better solutions than just kidnapping some guy and getting him to tell them things.
like a class maybe.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
but the thing.
exactly.
But the thing was that was actually quite hilarious was his sister just basically said like, "Yeah, you can take him." And they were like, "Okay, here's the question. Is he interested in girls whatsoever?" And the sister just replied with, "Fuck, I don't know." So basically they kidnapped him and he was in a limo with this very buff, burly bodybuilder guy flirting with him, and he's like, "I have no idea what is going on."
Wait, the guy was flirting with the bodybuilder?
No, the bodybuilder was flirting with the guy.
Okay, I would have really been happy if he was just like he's just flirting with the bodybuilder. I would have laughed so hard.
Yeah, it was a weird
I feel like
manga.
I'm on an acid trip just hearing about it.
Yeah, same.
Also, fun fact, where I
there
live,
was so many
Suica
weird
cards are actually called
decisions
orca
in this.
cards.
Annie, you were saying?
Sorry.
There's just so many weird decisions in the story you're telling me. I'm just like, how do we get from step A to step B here? How does this happen?
You know how
Yeah,
illogical it gets for some anime and manga.
I was just kind of like
It's just-
confused with the whole thing. Right.
Yeah, see, I get that if it makes sense in its own context, but from what he's saying, it doesn't. They're just doing things, and they're really dumb things.
I mean, it's not as bad as some other things. At least that and Girls of the Wilds were probably like, okay, we're going to just try this. And it's like, there was one, like, I was saying with the example of Girls of the Wilds, it's basically an all-girls school for, like, martial arts and everything, which was freaking cool. They were like,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, no.
They were like, okay, with government laws incoming, we're gonna have to start going co-ed or we're gonna shut down. Let's try to actually, like, slowly integrate guys into the school. And a lot of guys were actually scared shitless to go in because they didn't want girls to beat them up. And one guy applied to the school not knowing anything, and it's like, wait a moment, what do you mean after-school activities are mandatory?
Oh, that would be kind of creepy.
And he was like, okay, I'll just sign up for like the library club or something, or like the camping club or something. And it's like everyone just looks at him and it's like, we don't have those here right now.
Well, what do you have?
And a lot of people were trying to kidnap him for, well, the main three were going for taekwondo, tang sudo, and kickboxing. Which, he was actually really good with boxing. He learned quick, which was a good thing. But the only cool thing I hate about that comic is that they didn't take the obvious route with the girl that actually cared for him.
Oh?
Because, number one, the guy had to take care of his kids because his mom worked a night job. It's like, his mom was still around, his dad was still around, but his dad was, like, overseas for the time being, so he had to, like, take care of the kids for a while. Like, his younger siblings were, like, 5 and 4. And...
Classic anime.
Well, here's the thing. The girl cared for the kids. Like, she was, even afterwards, after she was rejected, she still hung out with them. And she still, like, cared for them like a big sister. Which is like, oh my gosh, that is precious, but I really wanted you to take the girl.
Like, legitimately... It's... Sorry.
No, it's just like, so they didn't end up together, and that's what you're angry about?
They didn't end up together. They end up... Well, the guy picked the one girl who was basically constant tsundere. Meanwhile, you've got someone who actually had the balls to actually go, hey, I like you, please go out with me. And they did for a bit. They had an amazing time, but for no reason, the guy picked the other one.
Yeah, that's,
Why does the tsundere always win? Like, that's the one trope that I hate. It's like...
Well, Emiya was a masochist.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emiya's a masochist. That's one reason.
I hear a train.
Yeah, the trains are very busy today.
Same.
And it makes me want to just absolutely just put up a sign that just says, sorry trains, this area is closed. Go back the way you came.
It's
For
not...
some reason, now I'm picturing a train tsundere.
like tsundere playing from Undertale.
It's not like I want to honk.
I'm just imagining tsundere truck-kun now. Thanks.
I really want to make like a light novel. Or,
I was
like, a
joking.
manga of the. I would really want to make like a novel or like a manga of the guy who's like drives the isekai truck, but it's like
That's
a
actually-
psychological horror thing.
That's
And it's
actually
just
one
like,
of them, but they didn't. They had it like a business.
Oh,
I was imagining it's like he's just doing his typical delivery routine, and he constantly just runs over people all the time, and he has to cover it up so no one knows he does it. So he's just horrified constantly.
what if he's like a serial killer and it's like
Yes.
that's like his getaway. He's like, oh, I'm, it's like the isekai people start like uncovering this plot. Like there's just this god that keeps saying like, oh, I'll like, reincarnate you into this world. The world's like a massive piece of shit because the god gets, their rocks off to it, saying like, oh yes, I love watching people suffer. Like that'd be a really cool idea of like multiverse jumping or something like that.
Imagine Rising of the Shield Hero, but mixed with Konosuba. Think of how crazy that would be. Basically, Aqua is just like a sinister god instead of like actually like a useless one, and she just like hates the fuck out of anyone, and she's just like, okay, you didn't want anything I wanted, you're getting sent in with nothing. Enjoy being naked, and she just sent him there.
You know what? I like Forrest comment here. He said, I don't want to make a light novel, I want to make a dark novel.
Well, light novel is the weight, not the content.
I know, but, it's a good pun.
I still really want to make... I actually had like an idea of like years ago of making a light novel where it was, the working project title was, I passed out drinking and I woke up as a Fox Girl merchant in a fantasy world, and it was basically this businesswoman who got really hammered, woke up with a hangover, and she was a Fox Girl, and she realized, oh shit, I'm gonna not make my deadlines. Wait a minute, I'm not gonna make my deadlines. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And she basically goes on her journey because she always wanted to run a business, but she was always preoccupied with work to ever do like the research for it. So she actually pursues her dream. And the thing is that she actually does get like an assistant, like an elf assistant.
Oh, that's cute.
And the two of them don't, like, the two of them have like a nice relationship, not like any sort of like
not romance, like good
undertones.
like good business.
No Yuri undertones, but there will be like moments where like
they question
like,
each other's sexuality.
yeah, they would, but it's not like taken in like an overly like sexualized way. It's just like, oh, I'm having these feelings. I don't know if this means like, you know, good friends or, you know, if there's something there.
So they'll be
And
confused
it's
for a
kind of-
moment. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uncertainty is pretty good to explore.
Yeah, the other one was there were like the heroes of, you know, like the grand heroes, and there is the one chosen by like the king to save the lands, and he's just like, you know, basically the fucking dude from Beauty and the Beast.
Gaston?
Gaston. Full on Gaston mixed with the spear hero.
Oh, so he's like a big,
Oh, God.
stupid, annoying person. Okay.
Yeah, and his
I hated him
but the
so
thing-
much. He's so
But
stupid.
no, here's the thing. Here's the funniest bit, though. His sidekick, like his lackey, actually is the destined hero, and he's basically like a pack mule.
Like the Help the Hero game?
Pretty
Wait,
much.
I have a thought.
Yeah.
What if he becomes a destined hero because he was the pack mule? Because carrying all that stuff go through the roof.
Strength
Yeah, no,
EX because he just carries
His
everything.
strength-
I love it.
His strength and endurance are legendary. None can defeat him. All
Yeah,
with
there's
his
actually-
press.
Oh my gosh.
The idea that this is like one of the this is gonna make you laugh even more, Yang.
Oh, no.
There's a scene where the pack mule character challenges to become the main hero, and the fox girl goes, "Okay, let's settle it with a boxing match," and they don't
Just
know what
decks
boxing
her.
is.
Oh,
And you know that scene from Revengeance where Raiden's punching the shit out of
Yeah.
Armstrong?
Oh my gosh.
is that what happens?
Basically
With the...
that.
Oh, that's amazing.
And like the fox girl's just sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, oh shit, this is intense. Okay, everyone, place your bets. Who's gonna win
No,
this?"
what I'm imagining is the designated hero's like actually really fast and zippy because you know he doesn't have to carry all that all the time, but he actually has.
yeah.
To...
Oh my gosh, like Piccolo taking off the
Rock Lee.
weighted clothes. You just hear this giant freaking thud.
Thing, but then when he goes into punch, he's punching really fast, but he isn't actually doing any damage because his abs are just too strong.
I just freaking love the idea of just him, like, you just hear this backpack just, like, whiz off, and it's just not anything in there. It's just freaking... I mean, it's not that there's not anything in there. It's just, like, you hear all the stuff just, like, clink around, and just and some stuff shatters and just falls out, and you just see him just, like, flex and just freaking... Instead of having this, like, very simple clothing, he just, like, rips it off almost. That sounds
So it's
freaking
like
good.
the guy
So his shirt
from How Heavy
explodes
Are
off
Your
him 'cause he
Dumbbells, where he
flexes.
just flexes and
Yeah.
his clothes just pop off. Sorry, Annie, what were you saying?
No, I'm just picturing him flexing and his shirt explodes, a typical thing.
Yeah, but instead it's just like, oh yes, finally. Or like, who's that one guy from Naruto that had like the weighted stuff?
That was Rock Lee. And
Yeah.
Also his, yeah.
So just imagine
The guy
that with
weird
him.
hair.
Just imagine that with him. That would be really, really good.
Yeah, that was a really good moment. He just like he took off some weights. It's like, oh, well, those don't look so bad. Those are just training weights. And he drops them. And
Shudders
just
the whole
full of
arena.
Giant dust clouds. Because they're actually really dense.
Yeah,
And
like
he zips around so fast you can't see him.
I
So,
just
you
like
know.
the idea of imagining him asking, do you know how much every piece of gold weighs? Do you know how much every bit of treasure weighs? All the skins from all the monsters,
I actually
even the
have to
metal
hop
armor.
off for just a second, because my Mama Koi's taking her master's thesis in a bit, so I'm going to be moving to my laptop, so I'm going to be
Okay.
Okay,
AFK for a bit.
good luck to
Don't
her.
worry, I'll still be here.
Yeah, good luck to her. Yeah, I'm just imagining that. That sounds...
Yes, that does sound amazing. The only problem I have is with the title because I don't like the weird literal titles to these things.
I feel like that's just to make it add some things where it's like, well, no one can copy us because we have this giant freaking thing.
I think it's just like, oh, this is an isekai.
And more or less, it's usually a good idea to, like, depict here's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the undershirt. Big buttons because big buttons.
Yeah, I see the buttons. They look good.
I
so
like the
far.
buttons.
I like the spider manga a bit better. Like, they still went for that sort of title, but it wasn't super long, and they were
Yeah.
kind of funny about it.
It's literally just so I'm a spider.
I'm a
So what?
spider, so what?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's
and
a bit of humor to it.
and the best part is she actually works for her stuff to be strong. Like she nearly dies like 5 times, and it's like, okay, let's try this differently. And she has her moments where she's haughty, but she's knocked down a peg enough.
Not to mention, she, like, at least so far in the stuff I read, because I really need to read more of it, she's just always alone, and that's kind of different.
Yeah, it's like everything else is like, okay, we've got a companion or 2 or 3 or 5 or a whole town. Like
she's just in the underground with all the monsters because she's a monster.
She's technically not alone because she knows she always has an audience.
She does?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that came up yet.
What chapter are you on?
You know what? Let me check. 1 second.
Yeah, because if you're at a big enough chapter, I can tell you. I'll remind you.
Okay, chapter 24.2 it says.
Yeah, like around chapter 10 when she was in the caves, she was, like the cave part, when she was like examining everything, just like kind of trained up. There was the person who gave out the skills that had a conversation with her. And she realized she always has an audience, and it's someone she knows from the school, but won't tell her the identity.
Okay, are you sure about this? I need to go back and check now, because I am absolutely dead sure that did not happen.
Yeah, it did happen. Like, it happened ages ago.
Are you sure it wasn't like an anime thing?
No, this was like ages ago. It was like
chapter 10.
Yeah, like around chapter 10 or so.
4 days in the nest building.
Yeah, it was like right after the nest.
Level 1.
It was after the nest building.
Okay, skills went up in her sleep. Okay, yeah, she's coming out of a cocoon, so yeah, she leveled up or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she made a morning star.
Yeah. Okay. I like the green top so far. Let's kind of take a look. So the blue's the apron.
Down. I'll find it eventually.
And if you need to reread it, it's not a big deal, right? Because it's actually fun.
I mean, I'm going to eventually, regardless, but still.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the top part of it. It looks good so far. Very unique for the school enough that it's like different, but still like official, basically.
Okay, so she does react when like her stats change, so apparently she can see that, but so far no one's talking.
Yeah, hold on.
No, I'm getting there. Let's see, Wasp.
I think her name was like Admin D for it. Hold on.
Okay, next chapter. Chapter 10.1. Still on Wasps. Oh, she made a bridge. The bridge is cool. Let's see. Bridge flexibility. Wasp.
Yang Invisible Girl draw. I'm not drawing Invisible Girl. I'm drawing it on a mannequin. I'm just getting a general use for it. Yeah, it's like Admin D is their name.
Okay, now there's a dragon.
Yeah, it's like after the Earth one fight or whatever. And that was a Drake, not a proper one.
Big unicorn dragon. Alright, I'm just scrolling. She's scared. She just says she's scared, and then it says skill proficiency reached. Stealth 2 became stealth 3. Fear resistance 1 became fear resistance 2.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
And then it got to fear resistance 5, because apparently it's scary. I don't know what fear resistance means. Is it like stop her from getting a panicking condition or something?
Probably.
Anyway, chapter 11. Let's just keep going, I guess. Wait, no, that... What? I already saw this. What?
They sometimes have it glitched in the system.
The other 2 parts all compounded in one thing.
Yeah, when it's just like combined like that, where it's like just chapter 11, it's pretty much just them combining it for the sake of combining it because they had site updates then.
That's really annoying, but I guess I can... No, I remember I tried to skip ahead to the chapter part things, but then when I did that, I ended up skipping things, so now I just don't know if Anyway.
Apologies, laptop not affecting my... Oh, that's okay, Lucky.
Dragon part.
Yeah, some nice slacks.
The wasp. Mantis thing.
Yeah, I was very, very sure that happened in the manga, too. Happened in the light novel.
Okay, bigger spider. Level 18 spider.
Pants. Pantaloons. Space for belt, because... Button.
Okay, that is too funny. I need to show you this.
Which part is it?
She's just thinking about the different monsters in this area and what the prey monsters are, and she realized they all have something in common with herself. Here's the picture.
Okay, let's see. Yep, acid paralysis poison, that one, when they're dancing together.
Yeah, they're all toxic.
Which is a good trait to have when you're in a dungeon where everything wants to eat. Just one belt loop would be fine. Ah, yeah, that probably would be good. Like right here.
And then she tried to eat this little prey-looking thing, but apparently it's corrosive, so she can't eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the one belt loop.
Corrosion resistance, but still.
Yeah.
It's still lowered her HP. Okay, moving on. So chapter 12? Nope, chapter 12 is just chapter 11, but with more stuff on it. Why? I need to find another site to read this on, I swear. Nope, that was just chapter 11. Ugh. I don't know how this works.
Magic. We'll just leave it as like a flap. Okay, but what if it's really bad and you are mild poison like alcohol? Oh my gosh, yeah, like, imagine if you just see like, hey, I've got poison resistance, and you just get like stung by a bee and you die, and it's like you're just looking in the afterlife, oh, that kind of poison.
Okay, now she's synthesizing poison.
Yeah, try later, like maybe around 15? Because I know it wasn't in chapter 20. Like, I 100% know that. Oh.
Is it the part where she basically has voices in her head?
Yeah, that's the part.
Okay, so that's not the same thing, but that's what she said, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, she learned she has an audience. Anyway, thank you, Sarah Slimy, for following. Welcome back to Akitohi Academy. Oh! Thanks for the raid!
Hello.
What were you up to?
Sorry for distracting you with that. I was just really thrown off by what you said.
No, it's okay. What were you up to? Let's see. Let's take a gander. So everyone give a big hello and welcome. You were doing... Just commission work? Nice! Oh, there's a Twitter for later. Okay. Oh, I can check. I am designing outfits for my school uniform stuff. Like the... Oh, I just... What? That was weird. It just closed it, but it still counted it as saved. I'm just gonna save just in case. Yeah, we are designing the school store uniform, and I like Ollie's from Yurdo Camp, so we're using hers as a reference to base things off of. Just a very simple design for now, just to be like, okay, let's just grab some ideas and get them together. Twitter is still wrong, gotta fix that. Okay. To the NSFW Twitter. If you want to show off your normal Twitter, you can put it in a link. I'll allow it this once. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I kind of like it with the upturned cuffs, so let's try. And we're just talking about random stuff today. We're waiting for Lucky to come back, too. I feel like a trim, like...
Oh yeah, those. I never understood what those upturned things are for.
It's usually if the pants are too long.
Then why don't they just wear shorter pants?
Because some pants have it where it's like there's a length of space that is too long if it's like another size up, but if it's like another size down, then it's too, another size up is too big.
Oh, I see. So basically it's so it could fit taller people, but also shorter people.
Yeah. It's why belts are also a thing. It's just to make it so it's
Right.
cheaper to make clothes. Not sure how to make the shoe. Like, I like her shoes here. The kind of, like, big, sort of, like, work boots and stuff. Also, you can't always get uniforms in any size. Exactly. Which, the whole point of Akitohi Academy is making it so that uniforms are customizable enough that they're good. Also, sorry for interrupting.
Hi, Lucky.
Oh, welcome, Lucky.
Sorry, I have to be on mobile because I have moved my microphone to my laptop, did not register, was not registering my headphones, so I have to be on mobile. So
If it helps, you don't sound any different, so there's that.
Slightly. Like, slightly, but that's about it.
yeah, hopefully my earbuds don't decide to die and it becoming the land of inconveniences.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Lucky is trapped
There's
inside
a
of a
lot of
bucket
ways
saving.
Lucky is trapped inside a bucket. Save him.
Compared to Discord compression, it's a little difference. Yeah.
He's too short to get out of the buckets.
I'm just imagining crabs in a bucket, but it's just like 50 koi fish.
Alright everyone,
Which
I am starting a
ones do you really
GoFundMe
lucky?
to save Lucky from the Bucket 2022.
At least it's not the jar.
Oh god.
You don't want to be in the jar. You don't want to be in the jar.
No one wants to be in the jar.
Some people
And
do.
This is the jar of peanut butter.
That's even worse, Annie.
No, it's better.
I don't think it is. Do you know what we mean when we say the jar?
Just dive in. Or a jar of, like, cheese sauce.
I'm very concerned about this conversation.
Yeah.
Do you know what we mean? Do you know what we mean by when we mention the jar?
I'm just sending you
Probably
the.
not.
I'm just sending you it there.
Okay. I was probably thinking of something else. Let's
Probably.
see.
Okay.
Oh god.
Oh god, no, not that jar. No,
Corrupting
no,
this.
no.
Yeah.
I apologize. Gomina, sorry.
Okay,
I love
let's.
how that's a thing.
I don't.
I mean, it's better than Yamikuda Stop.
Yeah, that's a little dumb.
I'm looking up work shoes, and I was like, okay, let's look up non-slips, because those ones are usually very simple but good in design. I found Crocs. They have non-slip Crocs, and it specifically says for coffee shops and bistros.
That oddly.
I found a freaking Getty image of a girl just about to, like, dive into a deep fryer.
Rats when they see the KFC deep fryer.
Yes, it's in postboard. It hurts me, Japan English, yeah. And Osakabe Hime from Fate usually speaks like that because of translation thing. They used to have it where she was like speaking slang for Japanese slang, but it's like that doesn't translate well into English, so...
Sometimes I love the broken English or like misproper translations, because I remember they had one which is, instead of keep off the grass, you know, it was like
The grass
keep
is
off
sleeping.
tiny grass is dreaming.
I like that one. That's
yeah,
cute.
I'm actually looking at something like that right now. For instance, me. One sign just says no flirting. That makes sense. The next one says grilled sexual harassment.
Grilled sexual harassment.
Yeah,
There's a story behind that one.
yeah.
I'm just
That's
imagining the
what
one
we
from
talked about.
Earthbound. The line from Earthbound.
And thanks for being patient. A team member is coming to cancel you.
So basically just Twitter.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Let's see these shoes.
I think my favorite thing is the subreddit Where Did the Soda Go?
Wait, this Operation Soda Steal?
No, it's just a bunch of
Oh, searching?
shitty, just like as seen on TV products. Like I opened it up and there's just this dude in like a western shirt trying to play the guitar on a fucking piece of ham. And the title is, despite its best efforts, George wouldn't make it to the second round of America's Got Talent.
Okay then.
How many stories of those are just there?
Oh no.
Like this? Right. Okay.
What the fuck?
Did you just see the thing?
No. I was just checking Where Did the Soda Go, and there's a fucking dude who basically has like fishing gear on and somehow has a lawnmower and is going off a pier.
Gotta trim up the lakeweed somehow.
I'm posting it in post-board.
Okay, let's see. I'm changing the music. Let's see this.
Like, just enjoy.
Have a great summer, never change. I think one of my favorite subreddits is Fuck Cars.
What?
It's basically that the car is like very, very stupid for how America should have been designed, and it's like destroying a whole bunch of things. And it's like a lot of things are like, that's good. And then there's like some people who are like obviously trolling. It's like, okay, how about this? We can like get flying cars, and everyone's like, are you kidding me?
Screw cars, bring back the penny farthing.
Oh my
This is
gosh!
a GIF and it doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, infomercials out of context. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense now. No, I have no idea how that would make any sense. Unless they're selling some kind of submarine lawnmower, which, no, that doesn't make any sense.
There's now, I'm just seeing one called An American Werewolf in London, and it's basically this woman like swatting her hair with all of this dog hair or pet hair, and then suddenly she just turns into a fucking yeti.
What?
Okay.
I'm confused.
I'm posting that one because I'm just confused. I'm just as confused as everyone.
Where do these fever dreams come from?
Probably lots and lots of copious.
I think my favorite one was, I sent it to you, Yang, but it was the dude trying to use the food processor with a cabbage, and instead of like, you know,
Okay,
cutting the
she just-
cabbage,
What? What? And then someone wrote, "Help! I'm being transformed into a furry." All of Reddit.
But I love the one where it was like a guy trying to use a food processor, and he's trying to get a whole cabbage into the food processor, and he was using a fucking hammer.
Oh yeah, yeah. They do stuff like that.
One of the classics is that you see the guy like using the lady using the hammer, and she's wheeling it back like she's gonna hit it, and then just slams it into the wall. And like I'm just imagining, and I'm also remembering the thing Drag showed me, and 2 shots of vodka. Glug 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 glug.
That cocktail looked fucking disgusting, too.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to show you a lovely fruit cocktail to make for your parties. And it's like mush kiwi, not even like doing anything to like actually like puree or turn it into juice. It's just like freaking kiwi sauce. And then there's just plain old, just like 5 things of vodka, enough vodka to floor or someone from like a good word for it. I'm trying to think. Like, enough vodka to floor a horse, that's what I was saying. Like, I mixed it with, like... I was going to say from the farm for moonshine, but then I was going to say from, like, flooring a horse. It's like, oh, let's just do that. And just, like, just immediately destroy them. Oh, yeah, that video was amazing. I'm going to show you how to make a mint julep. It is just glass and a half fucking bottle of whiskey.
1 cup of whiskey fills an entire pint glass.
There's one video of this one person making a barbecue rib sandwich. They don't take the bones out, and they just like spin the sauce around on the sandwich paper, and then just like this little glug in the sandwich, and someone just took a gif of themselves just like pouring water all around a cup, and then just a little shot into this giant bucket later.
Okay then.
Because it's
I
just...
just realized, wouldn't me being in a jar or bucket just be me in a fishbowl?
Yes. You're starting to learn, Lucky.
Idea for art. Me in a fishbowl, you in orca form, and you just kind of like having like one of those like little like cat toy things in the water, and it's just Annie in the back going, "Sensei, don't play with your food."
Okay, and then we...
I don't know why I found that funny.
Because you're a masochist?
I have fully embraced the idea of me being hunted.
Lucky, you're not just a bottom. If you were in the middle of a hole, you'd be in the lava.
Yeah. It's like Ansha being like the queen of all tops. I am the king of all bottoms.
Long ago in a distant land, 2 nations lived in harmony.
Long ago in before time.
I'm trying to remember how that Samurai Jack intro went, because I think that's what you just reminded me of.
It was long ago in a distant land,
Right.
and just started with the whole thing. Okay, I think those are nice shoes.
Those are really good shoes.
I looked away for 2 seconds. You made shoes.
Yeah, look at them shoes.
Them's are good shoes.
Yep.
Got the cool kicks.
The non-slips so you don't die.
They're dock shoes.
Pretty much. They're the shoes that you wear so you don't die in the middle of the kitchen.
Those are some good shoes then.
Since this is just a base, I do like the idea of some notes too, so we're gonna actually go around and do that. The layer button. Here we go. Let's go for that. Okay, so Lucky wants to be consumed. That's a bad thing to say from 404.
Ugh. I should probably stop all these jokes.
I know one thing you'd like.
Is it being part of a sandwich? Is that what you were going to say?
No, but now I'm really thinking of cooking you. Nibbles. Just nibbles. Playful nibbles. Punch.
Yeah, playful nibbles, good.
That's not so
Full on shit, taking a chunk out of my ear. Yeah, we're gonna be concerned about that.
Yeah.
What about the green tea
Nibbles are
Neko
fine.
picture where she bites off his dick?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh yeah, Green Neko. I forgot about Green Neko. Why did you remind me of Green Neko?
Green Tea Neko does a lot of weird shit in their comics. Hold on. I like how like 6 people left just from that. Perfect.
They were weak.
Okay, where is it?
I like to imagine, like, in order to get into frame, I'm standing on a box.
Green Tea Neko just does weird things.
Some are cute. Like, there are some that's, like, legitimately cute. But then there's just that.
Where?
I sent it to Lucky.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
Probably for the best. I probably don't need to see it.
No.
Again. Not again.
Alright, I'm gonna just say this. Not the worst thing that I was going
I mean, they've made a lot worse, like...
Yeah.
I do not want to see it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's crazy what some things are. Where's one of them? There was one where there was 2 of the Raijin in a house, and it's like one of them was like, you see a thunderstorm in the background. Do you want to get beaten up, sis? And it's like, wait, what's wrong? You see one smoking in the house, and the fire sprinkler is going off, and she's grabbing her club.
I don't get it.
Fire alarm went off, the sprinklers went off, and they were thunder gods. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Let's see. The only constant with Green Tea and Echo is that they're weird. Yeah, very much so.
I mean, I'm all for weird stuff, but then there's always, like, the line of being too weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The earplugs. It's just weird as heck.
Yeah. Since we were talking about infomercials a bit ago, it reminded me of this thing I saw a while back. These guys are just talking about like infomercials or something, and they're positing the idea of like if they had to live inside one of them, which one would they go for? That sort of thing.
Oh, like with the logic of the infomercial?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And one guy was thinking, okay, so I go for a beer commercial. He says, why do you want to live in a beer commercial? He says, well, for starters, I can drink all the beer I want, and there's partying all the time. And he says, okay, but they never drink the beer. And he says, what do you mean? He says, well, there's like actually laws. They can't show them drinking beer on TV. And he says, well, that's fine. It's more beer for me. And he says, yeah, but then you're the only one, you know, getting liver cancer, and then you'll die, and they'll be partying at your funeral because partying is all they do. And stuff like that. And I remember, you know, since they're partying all the time, there's no doctors or anything either, so yeah. All sorts of dark implications like that.
I know what commercial I would live in.
What?
The old school Lego commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Like big old fucking Lego City and stuff.
That'd be cool.
Fate
Yeah,
has
I
been
just
tempted
get to
too
play
many
with Legos the
times.
entire
Oh
time.
no.
Oh yeah, I remember the infomercial part. One of them wanted to live in the infomercial because the idea being the people in them are extremely stupid. So basically just the fact that he could open a door without falling over himself means he'd basically be worshipped as a god. So there's that, but then they point out, yeah, but that means that doctors are all stupid too, and so is everyone else, and you can't trust anyone to take care of you if something happens, and yeah. So, just gets weird if you think about it too much.
I just got like I was just checking stuff. I was just checking like Reddit because I usually use it for like D&D maps, and I got recommended the r/Lego, and some guy posted my golden Lego brick I got after my first anniversary at working at Lego.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
It's like a golden Duplo brick. It's pretty cool.
I think other games like give you like actual things. Like I know one game company literally gives you a sword after 5 years of working with them.
Oh, that's fucking metal.
Then there's after 10 years you get a shield, and after 15 you get a helmet.
So if I work there for 20 years, I get a suit of armor?
Maybe. I know, like, after the first year, you get, like, a stand to collect your, like, buttons that you get for working on specific games.
Oh.
Like, you just, like, get, like, sort of like a trophy stand, like a sort of case cabinet thing, and someone has, like, 50 different buttons for all the games he's worked on.
That's pretty crazy.
And it's one of the coolest things to do for, like, rewarding people. It's like, hey, you matter. Here's a sword. Because that's what they do in Finland once you do your thesis statement for college.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, in Finland, after you finish college for your master's degree, you get a sword.
That is amazing.
And if you want, you can have it inscribed. A recent person had it inscribed with runes. I will live in 1950 smoking commercials because it means I can never get cancer. Oh. Yeah, Finland is freaking cool.
Like, just imagine that. You're just carrying a sword around. Everyone knows that means you have a master's degree.
Yeah, imagine taking that to presentations. In other words, ah!
When someone disagrees with you, you both have a fucking medieval fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
And remember, in Scotland, in some areas, you are allowed ales and cakes so long as you wear your ceremonial sword and you have your proper wear cut at a certain length.
Well, that just ties together pretty nicely, doesn't it?
Yep. There's a lot of old rules that are awesome.
Yes.
I
mean,
love...
like, I'm the closest to that, actually, like the duels, because my state allows dueling.
Really?
Yeah. Fun fact,
Yeah.
in Texas, you can have any limit for carried blades. So you can just have, like, someone trying to mug you with a knife and you just pull out a long sword.
Motherfucker acting like Edward Scissorhands, but with katanas.
I was looking at the Nintendo Sports thing for the Switch, and I really want to get it. It's like $20 or something right now. Like...
I think you can only get the master's degree if you best a teacher in a fight with a sword.
That would be awesome. And I just feel like it's like, imagine just like you're just coming up to the thing and you see Gomez Adams with a rapier ready at you.
The fact that Gomez Adams is the richest character in all of fiction.
There's some stiff competition there.
No, he's not the richest character for money, he's the richest one for family and love.
Well...
Yeah, but he still has a... Yeah, but he still somehow has impeccable business sense because he bought like an alligator farm once. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? And then it's like the prices of like alligator stuff like skyrocketed and they sold the farm for like an insane amount of money.
Not to mention her kids are... Not to mention the kids are freaking smart. Wednesday raises venomous spiders and people were probably like all over that. It's like, are you kidding me? We can use these for anti-venom. It's like imagine her getting a job for like milking spiders later. It's like, this is what I want to do. It's like, yeah.
That sounds pretty cool, honestly.
I'm gonna just say this, Gomez and Morticia, like Adams, are relationship goals, let's be real.
Yeah, and it's not only that, it's like, Lurch, they treat him like family, even though it's like, he's a butler. It's like, obviously he's going to be treated like family. Why wouldn't he? He lives here.
Yeah. Like, I only saw one episode of that show in recent memory, but it just seems so wholesome.
Yeah, and if you looked at the original and you made it not black and white, the whole room was pink because that actually shows it properly as black. It's just like bright pink and gold because that shows up as like black and gray and everything else.
That's just amazing. Like, you'd think they're just black all over and everything, and like they have this whole goth sort of look to them, but no, it's just bright pink.
They are in the movies.
So basically the pastel Lolita sort of aesthetic, right?
Honestly, kind of.
I know for a fact that the actress who played Morticia Adams in the live-action Addams Family movie, she fucking burned that outfit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because it was constricting, she couldn't move, she could barely breathe in it. I think they had to, like, sew her into it at times.
Yep, they did.
That is... Okay, yeah, I can understand being pretty angry at it.
It's like Grease with that, like, that girl Amanda sew her into those leather pants.
Okay, I think that's good for the outfit for now. Let's just take off the red. Yeah. I like it.
Good.
Is there anything I should add? Because I could just take off the apron. That looks simple enough. Bandana's cute, name tag. It's very simple, but it works well.
Yes. Did you know Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars wearing slippers the whole time during filming? I mean, they never focused on his feet, so yeah, I guess he could get away with that. Like, I'm thinking back, I remember the movie pretty vividly, and there was never a time where his legs were given any focus, so that makes sense. He could do that.
He was just gliding around on one of those like hoverboard things.
They didn't have boots large enough for him, so they just made sure he always seen from the knees up.
Okay, I need to get the red bit and actually do the... how big is this image? 14 by 15. I need to do the actual Floof Mart uniform next.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be stemmed a little bit off of that. Like, the slacks will still be similar. Oops.
Right.
But... probably the shoes would be similar, too. In fact, I'm just gonna... okay. So, let's do...
Also, I feel kind of bad because I posted an image of the fluted armor set from the Demon Souls remake into Chihiro's chat saying, like, I'm just a casual armor enjoyer. She's like, oh my god, what's that from? And I said, it's the Demon Souls remake. She's like, oh, is that on PC? And I was just like, oh fuck, I've dashed the dreams again.
I need to clean the mug. I've had her do dishes in the sink, not the sink, the bathtub earlier because the freaking sink is broken.
Oh, jeez.
And we can't use the dishwasher because of it because the water will overflow. Like, it's just filling up, but it's not going down. Tried everything. Drano, those, like, weird things you just stick down in the sink and just, like, jostle around. We can't do that because the garbage disposal is busted, so...
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So, since it was brought up, here's another neat Star Wars fact I know.
Yeah?
So, Emperor Palpatine, he was sitting in that fancy swiveling chair, I remember, like he just spun around and everything, but it turns out the chair actually didn't swivel. It was supposed to, but for some reason it was broken, they didn't have time to replace it. Because obviously that's a pretty fancy looking chair, they need to make a whole new thing and all that stuff. So basically what they did was, his robes cover his feet, so they just had him do that, wiggle his feet along until it finally squeaked along to the other side. So he could face Luke and everything.
So, you finally come! And then you're like, shimmy, 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 shimmy.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so the pants are good for the uniform.
Yeah.
Since I don't want it to be too different, because obviously a company would want to save money wherever they can with uniforms. So a simple, like, just come with whatever pants you have, so long as they're, like, jeans or slacks or something, and use these non-slip shoes, and you're good.
Right.
But...
okay, so what's the difference between this one and the other one?
this one would be in the school. This one would be in the school itself. Like, this would be, you're working with food 90% of the time. That needs to be, like, actually made. But you're also running the register. You're, like, welcoming people in, that sort of order. Like, this is just general work.
I feel like it would have to have short sleeves.
Yeah, like, or, like, a jacket or something, this one. Because, let me actually look it up. Hold on. Because I need to go to my sources for...
smock.
4 point out the uniforms are already expensive, need to accommodate people having funny ears, wings, and tails and such.
Yeah, so getting a jacket where you can just have the tail underneath and just like, hey, if you're going to be working with food, you put on a hairnet for like 5 seconds and you're good.
And if people wear hairnets, they would need to fully cover your ears, tails, and wings.
Yeah.
They look like Sucrose from Genshin with their ears backwards.
No.
My tail behind me, would that be fine?
I mean, you can... here's the thing, Annie. We can shapeshift.
Yeah.
So... oh? What?
Oh.
What?
I only got...
Oh, thanks, Dawn, for the... thanks, Dawn. I got bits. Thanks, Dawn.
What is your favorite color?
White. Could be any color.
But yeah, you make a good point. We could just, if we're doing that sort of work, we could just make our tails or whatever poof away. So just for the time being.
Here's the thing. Not everyone in the town is a non-human entity, so...
Yeah.
I love the fact that you guys can shapeshift, and all I can do is go into box form, and I'm just like a little plushie. I can't do any of that.
You're our Fumo.
Aww.
I am I am a fucking Fumo.
Yes!
Lucky Fumo's now in the school store. Get him while supplies last.
Do you know how many people would actually buy those things? No problem. How's stream going? Stream's going okay. We made the quick uniform for the school store. So that's an easy one to just be like, okay, so that's a thing we can stem it off. So convenience stores in Japan and well, Asia in general, for like 7-Eleven and everything, they have like a sort of jacket and everything for...
Really?
Yeah. Basically sort of like a... Oh my gosh. I'm looking for just general ideas for like references. I think this is my favorite reference I found. The girl's getting mugged. Guy has a knife. She's got a potato masher grenade.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, no.
Look.
I love that. Mofu,
like-
mofu, mofu,
it's like-
mofu. Mofu. I love that.
Yeah, those jackets.
It reminds me of this video of this guy who, like, had his, like, he was on a motorcycle and this guy pulled out a knife. He's like, yeah, this is my bike now. He goes like, oh yeah, sure, totally. He just, like, gets off the bike, the guy with the knife, like, sits on it. He goes like, hey, by the way, don't you want my wallet too? And he reaches out, pulls out, like, a 1911.
I'll be right back. I gotta check on something.
Okay.
No problem.
Word for it? Yeah, that'd be the word. I need to find a non-lewd pic.
It's like, I don't know why they decided to, like, sexualize the convenience store worker uniform.
They do that in general for anything. If people find it attractive in any shape or form, it will be drawn lewdly.
I was trying to find an article of clothing that would be, like, the most, like, unflattering and unsexy thing.
Lucky, they made it lewd to be in a nun uniform.
I got nothing.
Was gonna say, people have found a way to go. I gotta get back to work now. You all have a good one. Alright, see you later, Dawn. Thank you. Non-human entity. Are we an SCP containment site? I was just saying that because there's a lot of things that are like aliens, not just like Western spirits, yokai, and demons. No, there's aliens. There's a lot of things.
They all hang out at Shogoff Coffee.
Yeah.
I still kind of found it funny because I was like wandering around VR chat maps just to get the hang of it, and I just encountered 2 Valhalla maps.
There's a lot of Valhalla maps because they're good.
There's actually not many.
Well, there should be more. Like, how many did you find?
Yeah, no, I found like 3.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Like, the first one was like, you could walk around the space and it was playing the OST. The other one was like a 2-dimensional one where you could have like your character in the game from like a camera point of view. And then then there was the other one, which was basically just the exterior, and they were like, oh, we're still working on the interior, and it hasn't been like updated in like a year.
Ah.
And I'm back.
Welcome back. I was just telling Yang that there were VR chat maps of the Valhalla bar.
Oh. That's pretty cool.
Okay, I think I found a good
I tried
one.
to get VR chat working once, but my computer just can't handle it too well.
I found a fun one. Okay, I found a good reference.
Oh yeah?
She's saying, yes, sir, leave it to me, and she's got like a giant pile of change in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
She has to count all the coins in order for them to pay. I like it. I like that one. It reminds me of my old grocery store uniform, except it's like multicolored and stuff, just plain red. Which was not comfy for me to wear because I couldn't tuck it in because it would very much exemplify my bust. So it was basically like, okay, we're just gonna go full curtain today.
I am curious why these outfits keep having like multiple colors on them, like Irin or something.
Usually it's to show off what store they work for.
Oh, that
Like,
makes sense.
It's like a sports team thing.
kind of. It's like just as a whole. Let me just do some other ones. There's another one, U2 and Postboard. It's basically to show, like, hey, as a company, we have a proper uniform. It's like we're a professional. We have a sense of unity and sort of a small scale, but hey.
Right. Oh, I see. Makes
I know
sense.
the one that's like the one with like Kankole, where they had like Kashima in that convenience store uniform for like a promotional thing.
Yeah, they had it hosted at, I think, Lawson or something like that.
Only thing I know about like Japanese like convenience stores is that they actually sell guns. Like I'm not joking, they actually have full-on sets in there.
Lucky, I need to send you a couple links from Strictly Dumpling, because they went to convenience stores and it's stuff. Like, they sell, like, proper food there.
Okay, you get.
I'm just gonna put in this thingy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You guys want to hear the worst
Yeah,
thing
makes me
that
think
I've
of ice
actually
cream.
seen?
It looks like the trans flag.
It does. That might be intentional, but I'm not sure. It's from a song.
Maybe. Anyway, I need to show you, Lucky. This. There we go. And you will remember it. Let me just send it to you too.
Okay, yeah, that food
Oh,
does look
that.
pretty good.
The best part is, he got a whole bunch of
I'm
food
already
for like
hungry.
$50, and it's like 17 meals worth, and he just like tried a little bit of everything.
I'm already hungry.
But yeah, it's like they have actual good food there. Because they make it cheap food, but extremely tasty food. Like, you can get like a proper bento box with like 4 different sections, including like sides, rice, and everything else, for like $5, and it's pretty much, or even like $3, and it'll fill you up very nicely.
It's like in Freedom Land, it's just like, hey, you know, what do we got? Oh, we got Spam Sushi.
Yeah, that's from Hawaii and others.
It's not good. Hawaiians love Spam. I don't know why.
It's probably because it's
That
like
is very
something.
strange to me.
It's something that probably is very, very salty and works well. I also found Sega with a giraffe neck.
Huh.
That's way too long of a neck.
The mouth, though.
Oh my gosh, this is adorable.
What?
Reimu, Marissa, Sane, 3 different convenience store uniforms. I am using that and saving that as a reference, heck yeah.
Huh. I kind of like Marisa's. It has that weird outline thing.
That is
going
really
through it.
cute.
Like,
Plus, it matches
I think
their
goes
colors.
7-Eleven, some other, like, local brand, and then Lawson. I think that's what it is.
Hmm. What is
I know
it?
for a
What is it?
fact.
It's reminding
I know
me
for-
of it's reminding me of Persona 5. That's what it is.
Yeah, like,
'Cause
Persona
it
5
weird
is the
not
jacket.
wanting to
Yeah.
deliver their outfits.
You just go to Greg's and Sausage Rolls here. Yeah, it's like there's no place to actually get anything unless you go to a bodega. And I think America's like actually like lacking in a lot of things infrastructure-wise, because you can't go to a gas station and get good food, because as you obviously know, it's like, okay, it's either frozen stuff, snacks, like cup noodles at best, but they don't let you cook them there, and whatever they've got from the fridge, pretty much. Or like,
And they won't let you use the double gulp cup for the Slurpees. I love that video.
let me get out the cheap. There we go. Or if it gives you like intestinal parasites, yeah, stuff like that. It's like that's one thing I want to do. Like, a lot of times, Kit and I will just be like discussing random crap in the middle of the night and just being like, okay, what do we want? And it's just like, we want freaking good things in America. And it's like, we're constantly talking, it's like, if we ever are to start up, like, making a place where, like, people can escape from horrible home life and stuff and just basically, like, get some place to be, we'd pretty much just buy an acre of land and just put, like, 15 tiny houses there just for, like, the meantime. And just be like, okay, look, we're going to set you up for, like, a month, but after that, you can either pay us rent or be able to go and get someplace else around here. Or, like, in general.
That's good.
Basically, like, training people to be able to handle life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's think, like, uniform-wise. No skirt. No skirt. I'm sorry. No skirt, because we don't want to take any chances, because pants you can move around enough easily. You're good. Like,
Right.
Easily.
It's like the Power Rangers where the Pink Ranger just saw the skirt and she just rips it off and goes, ah, that's much better. Like, there were pants underneath the outfit. She's like, you know, fuck the skirt, and just rips it off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like exactly the same, but for some reason there's a skirt on hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just took me a second to remember.
Yeah, it's like, it's a uniform. It's meant to be unisex because, one, it's cheaper, and two, you're going to be working with hot food. You want that stuff to just splash on your calves after you, like, mess up with a fryer or something? No.
Definitely not.
And also, what if you have to, like, you know, like, devein, you know, a fish or something like that, or, like, shrimp?
I
You know,
love
you're gonna
what
get, like,
404
guts and
said.
stuff.
404 just randomly said pants are hotter as well.
Oh, they definitely are.
So I'm also going to be making a winter top for this. Basically, like a shirt, and then I'm going to be making a jacket with a new shirt underneath. Pretty much, it's just, if you want to wear this in the middle of the winter, you can. Because even if the heat's going, you're going to be working with logistics and such. So
like
let's...
a sweater vest.
Kind of. Well, not like that. More like... I think of like a long sleeve jacket of Reimu's right here.
Okay, okay.
But anyway, I'm going to just say outright 7-Eleven has the best uniform. Because they've got the nice, like, little colorations and everything.
They got the logo, they've got, like, the colors, it's not, you know, too crazy.
Yeah. And it's not something you can easily steal. Like, I can make it into a parody-like thing. Meanwhile, it's like, if I do, like, with nowadays, it's like, oh, you just did one of those, like, fetish uniforms. Like, no, it's like Lawson's uniform.
Oh yeah, I remember that uniform. I saw it in the... Oh, never mind. No, I shouldn't talk about that.
Annie, we know. We have these tastes. Also, I'm gonna sit up for a moment. Ugh. Anywho.
I remember that Papa Fox said, like, hey, when you get out of uni, we're going to Kyoto. And I'm just like, oh, awesome.
They're opening up
Right,
tourism
right.
soon.
Yeah, because of COVID and such.
You still gotta
But,
have
like,
vaccines. Which, I can visit, yay! Ugh.
Oh, you suddenly got big and then you vanished.
Yeah, I basically vanished because I...
No.
I'm sure the people who are into the giantess stuff just suddenly just like
404 just randomly starts, like, breathing heavily.
You just teased them.
I mean, lucky, that's probably gonna be some of our main art with you and I. Because,
Yeah,
like,
literally.
actual size Orca and Koi.
oh my god, idea. It's just me like hiding behind your tail and you're just like cross-armed. He's like, he said extra pickles.
I hate pickles, by the way. Pickles are gross.
I like them.
How big would I be on that picture if we were doing actual size?
You'd probably be, like... If it's Lucky, like, actually, like, hiding behind the tail, he'd probably be, like... sort of, like, 3DS size compared to a person, or, like, DS, or, like, phone. Meanwhile, you'd probably be, like, the size of, like, a little bit bigger, because koi fish can actually...
Huh. Just a little bit. Oh, could I ride on your back, maybe?
I'm surprised no one is making the joke, which would be like, hey, can I hug your hips the entire time?
I'm just like imagining
I mean, I'm
like
thinking it
Annie's-
now.
I imagine there's like gonna be art of like Annie like jumping up with her arm in the air and like in like orca form Yang is just like going over her like Free Willy.
I'm just like, can we do the thing once, at least once? All right, fine. Then we just like actually do the Free Willy scene.
Yes.
Yes, I took that from Gravity Falls. Yes, it's a great scene and I love it.
Yes. Mermondo was great.
Yeah,
I've never seen Gravity Falls.
we're going to fix that.
Gravity Falls.
Yeah, we're fixing that.
Like-
We're fixing that. I'm sorry, Loki.
It's like you
Because
with me seeing the
watch it
Persona
the
4
first time.
animation.
Oh, right, we still need to fix that, too.
I mean, if it gives me a reason to watch the show a third time, I'm up for that.
Yes. Fourth
Like
time
that
for
scene
me.
from Clockwork Orange.
I've watched Gravity Falls so often, but it's because it's just so dang good.
Yes.
I think you might, because I know of Bill Cipher, and I know how fucking loopy he is.
Oh, he's great.
He's the good kind of loopy.
I think he doesn't show till like episode 18 or so, but it definitely carries until then.
Yeah. Like, there's enough
Yeah,
characters of the
can-
day to be satisfied for a bit.
I mean, like, one of my D&D, like, pantheon characters is literally the god of all knowledge and language, but he's a fucking clown.
That's
Like, we're,
somewhat
like,
accurate.
like, straight up just loopy crazy dude.
There are some people I need to give VIP to in
That's
chat
just
that I...
Yorash.
Yeah, it's basically like Cheo Gorak, except, like, you know, he actually, you know, doesn't have his own, like, super... Yeah, it's literally just 40k stuff, but, you know...
Yeah. I remember now that Texas Speak show, like, Magnus was trying to say his name, but he kept getting it wrong. And he was just going along and says, nope, that's not it. Not even close. You know, that sort of thing.
Okay, there. I gave Misty Winterbellin, who is one of the model siblings, as well as Toga, VIP status, because they don't have VIP status, and I had to fix that. They needed
And
it.
eventually she just said, damn you honk god, what is your name?
And then you just hear a very, very faint honk coming from the ether.
Yes. He does that a lot.
Bazinga.
Yes. He does that.
Bazinga. Okay. I'm trying to, like, look at the uniforms for coloration and such, and it's, like, very, very simple. It doesn't even have, like, a collar. Like, barely a collar. Like, right here would be the collar. And I kind of like that. Anyway, I've been working on lore stuff, but I don't have a lot down. Any questions? Just to, like, get the ball rolling.
Lucky, what about you?
What do you wish to desire
what-
to know?
What currency does the store and school operate off of? Is it the Japanese yen, the US dollar, or own custom currency?
A mix. We're going it with Gensokyo rules, yen and mon.
Ah, makes sense.
Oh, yo, yens, yip, yip, yip.
Yes. But yeah, Akitohi Academy itself and the town it's based in, I don't have a name for it, but it might be another tree thing. It's in the Hokkaido prefecture, so it gets cold here. Which is why I'm going to, like, make the uniform still, like, seem good for cold.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Because, no, while you can come to school in skirt, you're going to get pants underneath that. Enjoy. Like, yoga pants, sort of like ordeal.
It's like that thing from Valhalla where the ghost girl had jeans underneath her skirt.
Yeah, see, that's me. I would very much do that.
It's fine for me to wear a skirt because I'm just in my comfy streaming room.
Until you have to walk to school. Because I don't drive.
Yeah. That's
Other
also why I wear a
dorms.
jacket and a sweater. And a hat.
It's just like Rin. It's just her. She doesn't need anything underneath her skirt in the middle of winter. She's just magic like that.
Yeah, I remember there was like a meme or something where Saber was asking about that. It's like, how does she keep her thighs so damn toasty? That's the true magic.
I know that, like, there's, like, a kind of, like, stocking sort of thing in Japan where there's, like, two layers. Like, one is kind of like this like, it's both somewhat transparent, but they, like, keep in the heat.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sort of like, what are they called? Pantyhose.
Yeah, it's like double layer pantyhose.
Okay. There's the sort of like unisex shape for the shirt.
Does the academy also have like a dormitory system?
Yeah, it does. It just isn't like a big thing because most people would live around town. Like most schools in Japan usually have a dormitory thing, but it's like you don't have to do that. You can still transport by train, but we are in the Hokkaido Prefecture, which is the island part.
Mm-hmm.
There are some from Akita, but it's like, eh.
I just stay around the school. I just lived in like some woods nearby before that, so you know.
I live in the lake.
The lake that freezes over often.
It's like it's like that image of Croctimus Prime crawling out of the water. It's just me.
Croctimus Prime?
You've never seen Croctimus Prime?
No, what is Croctimus Prime?
I need to find it. 1 second.
There's just been a lot of weird Transformer characters, that's all I know.
Croctimus Prime.
Alright, you ready to see Croctimus Prime?
And like 5 variations of the same people. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, let's see.
Lay it on me.
I'll put it in postboard because everyone needs to see Croctimus Prime.
Okay, please tell me he's made of shoes. That's even better.
Is he a crocodile?
That
Let's
is
see,
beautiful.
let's see.
Yeah.
That is amazing and I love it.
Yes.
You want to know the best part? There's actually Transformer toys of Croctimus Prime.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I always thought that was weird because I've seen the entire Beast Wars cartoon, but I also had this toy from when I was a kid of a Beast Wars character that wasn't in the show, so I was very confused about that.
Yeah, there were a lot of things like with Beyblade too, and same with Bakugan, where just like, hey, we're just making our own fanfic characters.
Yeah, basically.
Like the one Transformers series that everyone can kind of agree on that was like really good was Transformers Armada.
Was that the one that was kind of like animated, like Hi Puffy Amiyumi a bit?
Yeah, no, it's kind of hard to say, but it was an anime. There were like humans in it and such, but it was like they had like a whole like arc with Starscream, and he joins the Autobot side, and then he goes off the Autobot side, and then he joins again, and then like
that sounds like typical Starscream.
Yeah, but they had like the mini cons, which were like these like tiny little like humanoid, like human-sized Transformers. Like some like turned into a bike, and then they would like transform into like swords and stuff.
The one I'm thinking of looks kind of like the Benton Alien Force stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that style, at least with Ben 10. It just seemed
It was literally just called Transformers Animated. That's it.
Yeah, Armada was like... Armada literally had, like, characters fucking die, like, right in front of everyone. Like, they did not, like, shy away from serious aspects.
That's partly why I like Beast Wars. Though that's from, like, I think the 90s, and it's all CGI, so it's a little dated now, but I like the story of it. When it gets to it, because it takes a little while, because at first, you know, it's just some silly one-offs and this and that. But, you know, once it gets going, it gets going.
If my friend was here, like, he would go on and on about Transformers, because he collects them.
Mm-hmm.
He collects them and the Megazords. Yeah, I don't know how many Megazords he has, but I know that he definitely has the Dino Thunder one.
Oh, that reminds me, I was watching this guy on YouTube. Usually he does these videos about Dragon Ball, comparing, like, talking about the manga and stuff, and this
DVD
and that,
dissection.
But, yeah. But he also has been doing this thing comparing Power Rangers to its original Japanese inspirations, and seeing which one he thinks is better.
They fucked up the Gokaigers. Like, they fucked up the Gokaigers so hard. I'm so pissed off that they did that.
Oh?
Okay, so I'm a huge fan of Kamen Rider. You know, I'm a thing with that. So every decade they create a like a sort of anniversary, like for like 50 years of Kamen Rider. They have, you know, a Kamen Rider that transforms into other riders. For the first time they did this, they created Decade, who's my boy. He's literally he's awesome because he just doesn't give a shit about anyone. Like literally, like one of his like it's like his landlord's daughter was arrested, and then he acted as her lawyer, but he antagonized her the entire time.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
oh, look who's in control now. But then he like helps out everything. He's basically kind of like an anti-hero hero, but that's beside the point.
So it's
he
basically... what's the one guy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that literally just picks up random bullcrap and just beats Casey?
kind of, except like he can actually transform into other writers from the past. So it's like, oh, I want to use this ability. He would just slide in a card, and then he would transform into that writer.
This feels like JoJo a little bit.
A little bit, but honestly, it's pretty cool. The Power Rangers equivalent was the Gokaigers, which were pirate-themed Power Rangers. And the Red Ranger could transform into any Red Ranger from the past.
Oh my gosh, the one from
I
Dino
remember
Thunder would be
that.
cool.
Like, I
Yeah,
never
no, he
saw
does
it,
that.
but I heard about it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, they actually had a whole film where it's Decade versus the Red Ranger. So they have this whole battle of both of them transforming into, like, different, like, Kamen Riders and different Power Rangers. It was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the newest transforming, like, rider form is Kamen Rider Revice. And the thing is that he's two people. He has, like, a demon inside of him, and when he transforms, the demon pops out, and they have, like, a whole animal aesthetic going on.
I'm just thinking of
And
Venom from Spider-Man. Is that right?
Yeah, no, it is kind of like that, but I think the coolest thing is that his main outfit is themed after a T-Rex.
Beautiful.
And also, it's pink and blue. Like,
Okay.
full on, we're talking, like, all pink. It's awesome. It is really good.
Okay. Oh, there's that top bit. I'm trying to, like, stem from multiple...
Awesome, thanks, Annie. I'll check those out later today.
Like... Or some good lore things.
I really wonder, like, if there's, like, separate departments for the Academy where it's, like, they have one for, like, creative arts, but they also have one for, like, combat training or, not really, like, fighting to survive, but some people have, like, the martial arts.
There's separate
sort of-
buildings for sure. There's, like... You know how, like,
Yeah.
there's the practice building and whatever, and it's just like... Yeah, no, Akitohi Academy has a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I imagine you wouldn't want them, little quiet writing classes or whatever next to the martial arts classes because that make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I feel like a good stream idea is basically just all of us, like, collaborating and drawing the map.
That would be
Like,
fun,
all the
yeah.
buildings and stuff.
I don't know if I'd be great at it, but it sounds cool.
I mean, offering up
Well,
things that schools usually need would be good.
Yeah, no, like, what I was saying is, like, a rough sketch, not, like, anything,
Set in stone or
Like-
whatever.
Yeah, like, just kind of, like, you've kind of seen how, like, rough my drawings are for my, like, D&D stuff.
Yeah. I was
Kinda
thinking
like
of
that.
doing that for, like, the Fate map, for, like, trying to recreate the map of Italy for, like, Rome.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really excited for that.
Annie, do you want to join in on that for when I get that started? Because I'm going to need to, like, do that as the main thing for, like, the biggest test, which would probably be, like, later this year, like, the start of next year. But I'm probably going to be needing, like, 50 other tests beforehand.
Oh, well, sure, of course I can be glad to help.
Yes.
Ace of Spades has, like, fucking neuron activation.
I need to get more emotes from this. I don't know how they're doing it, and I should really check in. Because, like, we've been having issues lately because Kit's workplace is being very hazardous.
Right.
I forgot to call one place. Fuck. Post. I completely forgot to call one place. I didn't write it down, and I was like, I'm gonna write it down, and we'll be all good. I don't write it down.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. And they've got, like,
Tomorrow, right?
yeah. Not to mention I'm waiting on another place to potentially work for temporary time, maybe, to call me back later because they're still doing paperwork first. like the one person that was doing the hiring process was just kind of iffy on some things because she didn't know when they would be done for all the public safety stuff and like grading for health inspection. Okay, so I'm kind of torn between a couple of design ideas. One, I need it so that you can sort of design the shirt where there's like points in which the colors like overlap, because I'm trying to go for like blue and green and white maybe. Like probably like blue and white only with the logo being a stamp, but still. Do the draw at the bow, or I'm going to schedule. Take care. Have fun, Drac. I'm very excited because next week, hopefully, if all things go well, I'll be playtesting your game on stream.
That's gonna be awesome. It looks amazing.
It is freaking cool, and
I'm pretty excited for it.
hopefully it runs well. It should run well because very nice. Okay, yeah, I found a picture of the sort of jacket I want. Hold on, let's get that.
Oh, good. I could try streaming that game, but I don't know if I'd handle it too well. I didn't handle FNAF very well either.
I don't think your computer could handle it either.
Oh yeah, there's that too. That's true. I keep forgetting.
So, see
My
what I mean by the
computer-
jacket? So like an under jacket.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense.
Because you can then get like a general grasp of how it could work, but if you want, you can just wear the top jacket only, which is nice. Or like maybe
Yeah, it
just
looks
a
good.
normal jacket. Because there's another lewd picture that I'm thinking of that would be different.
I just opened one of my tabs and I just immediately just see art of Soundwave at like what appears to be like an 80s prom. And I have several questions about it, but I don't question it at all.
Why do you call it an under jacket exactly?
I just called it that because that's the easiest way to say it. And Annie, the picture I was thinking of, same with Lucky.
Okay.
Like, I was thinking that for a uniform maybe. Like, maybe because it looks like a
Very
fake.
big boots.
You were one letter off. And
Boots.
yeah, they are very much so. But I was like maybe thinking sort of like faux apron, sort of like that one maybe. Because that one has
She
like
looks very mad.
she's just
Yeah,
perpetually
just looks-
tired.
Jaded.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Welcome to 7-Eleven, get your shit and get out.
Very much so. She was scanning a thing of yogurt in one picture and it's like, "Would you want it heated up?"
For some reason that reminded me of Yakuza, where you just throw a dude into like a microwave and then you just say, "Can you heat this up for me?" And then the clerk just like turns on the microwave.
Just boop.
The what?
Yeah, yeah, Yakuza's really crazy because I think my favorite thing is when you go into the convenience store, if you walk by a magazine rack that's near the window, you just see like Majima like pressed up against the window.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing was from like a Dragon, where like you apparently have to fight a giant Roomba.
Yeah, you fight the giant Roomba, but also the not orangutan, the chimp in the digger, the excavator.
I love the fucking Nancy summon.
Yes, that was the other thing I was
I
gonna say.
actually put Nancy in my D&D game. There is a small clay statue of a crawfish, and if you find it, once per week, you can summon Nancy.
Yes.
And guess how much damage Nancy does?
5.
1d100.
Okay, so it's either extremely good or extremely insane.
Yeah,
What
no.
poison?
Does she pierce through defense?
It's just straight dice damage.
Okay, so it's
That's
not
fair.
it's not like anything. It's just like, okay, you just take damage. Just damage? Just damage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
just
pray
straight
to
damage.
Nancy and hope for a miracle.
Yeah,
When all seems dark, you summon Nancy.
I even play the Like a Dragon combat music when it happened too, which was
Yes.
amazing.
I like what was the one summon? The one little girl that you got the donations for her brother. She
Oh,
literally
yeah,
just like
take down
drains
his
the
daughter.
money out of people and kills them.
I'm just gonna say, my favorite definitely has to be the K-drama people.
Oh my gosh, right,
like
the two
dark
just like,
everyone.
the, what was the name of it? I think it was like something snow. Yakuza summons.
I will say
I'm
the
trying to remember
Kiryu
what
and
we're talking
Majima's
about.
make sense, but I do love Gary Buster Holmes's.
Yeah! Like, where is, yeah, just the first summon, just a trip to Pound Town.
Oh yeah.
Like a Dragon is. I played Lost Judgment takes
Oh
place
my
in Yokohama
gosh.
too.
Right, okay. Remember the chicken from the Senbei Cracker, like, side quest where you have, like, the whole money-making game?
Yeah, the chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Omelet! HP and MP
Oh.
recovery for the party.
Yeah, I love that.
Hirakawa, Megumi, Soda, Mr. Mexico, Yushin.
I just love the summoning animation. It's like time to call a friend, and he just dials
Yeah.
the phone really fast and dramatic.
That was actually a D&D boss I had. One of the characters was like part of like a crime ring, so I was just like, you know what, fuck it, Yakuza. And like the last, like the character's best friend was literally Majima, and he's still in my world. And he does own a construction business, and he's still just Majima, just doing his thing.
Well, what is his thing? I don't.
There's actually a lot of other summons that I've not seen. These are new. There's a Robson, the fake wild tiger of town, which is just a calico cat that just does fury swipes.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that one where it's just like, and then suddenly it just turns into a fucking tiger.
There's a guy that bases things off of what was that one movie? Akira, and he does like the whole bike slide and everything. There's Jason Voorhees knockoff. Yeah, Eugene.
I'm still just remembering that one guy who just doesn't take any damage no matter what. He can't feed.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Masochist, or Sota is his name.
I fucking love Mr. Masochist. It's like he just like gets like stepped on and then kicked, and then he just lands on the red carpet, perfect lands, and then just like strikes a pose.
Some of these are amazing.
Oh.
Did stream crash? Oh, Annie did. Annie exploded.
No, Annie crashed.
Annie exploded. There you are.
Annie.
Yeah, you crashed.
Nope. Annie, you properly back?
There we go.
I'm here. I
Okay.
think I'm here. Am I
Discord was
alive?
Yeah.
playing red light, green light, so it was not entertaining.
Yeah, Discord
Sorry.
had a hiccup.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Don't be sorry. I'm the one who's supposed to be sorry here.
Why
No.
are you sorry?
I'm closer to Canada.
Hey, I am! No? Like, Lucky, how far away from Canada are you? Because I'm at like a 2-hour drive.
I think maybe like, yeah, I think I'm around like 2-hour drive.
That explains everything, Sensei. You're always apologizing for everything, no wonder.
And that met Slippy Shaky a bit.
I mean, like, my
Canadian
apologizing is
aura.
very bad.
The Canadian aura.
Just art of me and Yang, like, at a Canucks game with some Tim Hortons.
We need to be the green men from the Canucks games. The freaking Canucks green men, they would always do random things. Like, they were pestering one of the hockey players with waffles once. Just...
I love Canada.
I'm trying to think of good uniform things, but I don't know how to split it.
Maybe, like, a slight checkerboard pattern?
No, I don't want it, like, too complicated to draw. I want it to be noticeable, too. Like, I want people to think, like, oh, it's a knockoff of 7-Eleven, but it's like, I don't want people to be like, oh, it's very much 7-Eleven. It's like, it's inspired. So maybe just...
Maybe have, like, the area around the zipper be kind of like a clear white line, and then, like, you frame it a little bit like a window, except on the right, like, breast pocket area. Like that sort of thing. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I kind of like what I did right here with the sort of sectioned off area.
Oh, yeah, no, that looks good.
Because then it looks like they're, like, not as big, per se. Like, it draws the attention upwards because it's like, oh, it's, like, kind of weird on the side, but it's, like, second chancing it, or second guessing it, it's, like, not as good. Like, maybe I was in the right direction, but not the right shape. Like, sort of... No... I kind of like the sectioned off area, kind of like this over here.
I like that. That seems pretty good.
Or
Yeah.
what if I did it like... No, that looks weird.
Hmm.
Kind of looks like they have shoulder pads.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Or it's like
feel like the
the
pockets.
biking.
Yeah, the pockets are nice
Pockets good.
locations. And it's just like...
Let's keep the pockets.
Yeah, and it... Unless if you're doing a complete handstand, nothing will fall out, because the pockets open upwards.
Which is how pockets should actually work.
Hmm.
Okay. Let me just... Okay.
Sorry, I'm just chuckling at the fact that I told Shiro that I used to work at like a community anime convention and I had to supervise a fucking My Hero Academia cosplay dating show and a Doki Doki Literature Club poetry workshop.
Wait, what? I blanked.
A Doki Doki
Yeah.
Literature Club workshop sort of area.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was.
that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, it was not what you were thinking of.
Aw.
It was all a slideshow.
No.
It was very much like the games. It was just.
So it was disappointment.
I wanted a
Yeah.
poetry jam.
It was cringe.
Maybe with music.
No.
No.
The dating show thing was like the most awkward thing. It was like reading a fan fiction off of Wattpad.
Oh, geez, Wattpad.
Oh, I think it's funny because my hold on, if I can pull it up, I actually have my Fox Boy Wizard D&D character. Let me double check here.
Yeah, I know, right? Wattpad's still a thing.
Yep.
What's Wattpad?
Wattpad is
Wattpad
basically
is
like
a-
a journal for everyone. It's kind of like fanfiction.net, but you can put anything up on there.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, but I had a reference to it, and it was the character. He worked at Archivist of Ourselves, which is
Oh my gosh,
a
yes.
reference to an. Yeah. I love this character primarily just because it was like the background I picked was Hermit, and then in brackets just more introverted. Like he lives in like a city, he's just very introverted. And it's like I have like a bunch of brackets where it was like it's like dislikes, loneliness, conflict, heights, moths, having his art destroyed, in brackets literally, like physically destroyed.
Oh,
I mean, who would like that?
okay. I think I
mean,
got
his-
some.
I mean the boss was named Oliver Octavius Olimar.
Oh my god.
Eh.
How evil do you have to make people sound before everyone's just like, hey, that sounds evil?
Yeah.
Well, the
Alliteration
reason
doesn't
being is
help.
because I really just wanted to have. I just imagined this orc version of J. Jonah Jameson when I wrote that.
Ah, yes. Make it some other crazy sounding thing.
Yeah, I mean his
Iron
character
Man's just
story is
full of
actually kind of
alliteration.
good.
Just don't do it with K's.
Yeah, no, K's are a bad go.
Yeah.
But his entire backstory is him, like, all of his spells rely on bookmaking. So instead of like grease, it's just like glue. Because he has to bind things together. And his boss basically says, hey, we need one more book to meet a quota, and you work in the printing department, you probably see a lot of books. I want you to write a book before the year ends, or else you're fired.
Very much horrible company.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, just very shy and, like, just kind of accepts tasks, like, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Meanwhile, on the way home, fuck.
It's like, no, it's just like, it's like in Call Me Son, where she's, like, obsessing over all of the shit that she was, like, she could have said, or, like, it's like, what if I said this wrong? Did they did they misinterpret that? That's just basically him.
I still need to watch Kami-san.
It's really good.
I know, everyone's like, oh, it's so good, and everyone's just like, yay, I can't watch it right now because I'm busy.
I'm gonna say this. I like the anime because it cuts over a lot of stuff I hated in the comics.
Let's go.
Comic. Primarily because they had like a whole thing where she wanted to go to like a restaurant, and the restaurant owners kept abusing most of the cast.
Oh, they just completely went over that?
On like a goddess. And then it was like, I was like, fuck these store owners, I hate them. And then when
Don't do that, they'll
like,
breed.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, pretty much. You don't want those fuckers to, spawn everywhere. But they cut that section out of the show, and I'm like, oh, thank God, I don't have to deal with those fuckwads again.
Good.
But it's very cute. I'm not saying like it's the best anime in the world. It has its flaws, but it's just like, if you just want like a casual watch, it's good.
So, Sensei, I just noticed that your little symbol there is on both the uniforms there. Is that like the school thing, or is it your thing?
Who do you think owns the business?
I could have sworn you said you didn't, but, it sounds like you do.
Lore.
That's why I'm asking, what's the lore? Tell me the lore.
Well, I had to get the stamp from somewhere.
Alright, that's fair.
Akitohi Academy is just the Yakuza.
That's... okay. Ministry is getting very, very complicated. Everything is just like, okay, I can somehow assemble everything all at once now. Like, a lot of plot points are being connected very, very quickly and very, very scarily. Like, a lot of them are just like, okay, this just stems back to Blue Gear stuff. Like, I'm not kidding. Most of them, because I have Blue Gear stuff fleshed out like crazy, this just stems back to here. Like, I have, like, other games with, like, prequel stuff. Yeah, Blue Gear stuff is in there. Freaking...
Is it getting too complicated for you?
No, that's the thing. I can remember stuff more clearly now.
Well, if that helps, then great. I was just concerned for a second.
Like, seriously, I can remember a lot more now because of that. Like, I can downright tell you, it's like, hey, this event happened. This is why. Like, I have actual history to use now.
Right.
404 just posted a link saying, warned you lucky fate was tempted. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Wait, is it... Okay, I'm
What
curious
is it?
now.
I can't click it.
It's Fisher Friends, not food. It's just me in a bowl, and Yang is just looking at me with, like, the fucking Cheshire cat.
Oh, that's good, that's good. That's really good.
I really hope Mama Koi didn't hear that, because she's focusing on her master's quiz and dissertation. So.
I mean, I can make it worse.
Oh
no.
And let's see.
I'm in the basement right now, so hopefully that.
Yeah, you did a good job there.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna have like maybe a section up here, but
Then when they said tempting fate, it just makes me think that unless someone's saying something about Type Moon or whatever, and they just throw in a weird character to prove them wrong.
honestly, I really want to do a giant fan art project of whomever wants to, and just make them like animated style like of FGO, like give them phantasm skill things, just everything.
Yeah.
It'd take a long while, but I know some people's classes would be.
Yeah.
Like, I'd obviously be Berserker for base, because 2 clubs bonk. Either caster or assassin for you, Annie. Ironically, Lucky, just for the hell of it, I want to make you Archer just because so many Archers don't use, like, proper bows and arrows. Like, one of them literally just throws dolphins at people.
Yeah, that
Sounds
doesn't
like
make any
May from
sense.
Guilty Gear.
No, it's Jeanne d'Arc that does it.
Oh my god.
And she is honestly one of the
Summer did
best.
weird things to her.
I think it's just more like instincts are being played out more.
Okay, so basically, normally she's just being more reserved and not going crazy, but since it's summer, she doesn't have to hold back. She's just nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And her altar is the sane version that's like, what?
Summer event somehow?
What?
I know in the next summer event she had a shark, but then she had a dolphin before that. Did the shark eat the dolphin, or the dolphin turn into a shark?
She just adopted it. There's just more.
Okay, that makes sense. Also, the shark could talk, but it could only say, "Play with me."
Yeah. Raz. That's a good class for Raz. Well, here's the thing. Most people would just be caster, because it's just easy to toss people in. And it's the most abundant class in FGO.
Or archer.
Archer's not actually that abundant. If anything...
I mean, like, you could throw lots of things in it, because...
projectiles.
I mean, literally throwing things apparently counts.
Yeah. Like, David's in there just because he uses a sling.
Yeah.
Ironically, he's one of the candidates for Grand Archer if Orion gets kicked to the bucket and stuff.
Actually, the weird thing is, David, like, in the game, doesn't he just smack people with his staff instead of actually using the swing?
Yeah, he uses his crook, but that's because he hasn't had an animation update yet.
Oh, okay.
They're just like, well, we don't want to animate this early enough, and the game's already coming out, and he's one of the freebies. Let's just do some quick animations with him smacking people with a crook.
Like Raz would probably be like, you know, Berserker or something like that. Just
Oh, I know! There's a new class, Pretender.
Oh?
Their whole shtick is that they're pretending to be someone, or they're faking being someone. For example, there's one for Iskander, also known as Alexander the Great, called Hephaestion. She's basically one of the people who was the designated survivors, and not only that, she was there to be killed in an assassination attempt for him.
Oh,
And she basically had zero name until he gave her one.
That makes sense. I guess I could technically be a pretender if I did more of my illusions and such.
No, that'd still be under assassin. Pretender has to be that you're trying to be someone else. Spoiler reasons, there's one who's
don't do that.
Spoiler reasons, the first one was in Lost Belt 6.
Yeah, I know
I'd
that.
probably be throwing rocks at people or something. I'm very wimpy.
What about, like,
Water guns. Water guns. Water guns.
A super soaker, and it's like after I've like fired for like 2 shots, I'm like, okay, I gotta go to this thing and refill it.
Lucky. Like, I remember there's a character, she just has a water Gatling gun or something.
That's actually Helena's summer form. She has a water gun mixed with a Nerf gun.
Yeah.
It literally just shoots soggy Nerf darts. And one of her abilities is just named after the water gun. It's just Nyarf.
Narf.
Nyarf. It's based on the cat from, freaking... Was it Thundercats?
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah. And, there's also...
Snarf.
Yeah, there's Swimsuit Archer who just puts Excalibur in the end of the water gun and then shoots it.
Yeah, that's her NP.
Yeah. There's some
She does
really
fire the
fun
gun
things.
sometimes, but she also just swings it.
I mean,
that's her finishing move.
here's the funny
He
thing.
said,
Out of all of them, everyone, like, replaces their weapon. Meanwhile, Kiyohime just picks up a Nagina and is like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like-
And Mordred's just using a surfboard, so that makes her
She
a lighter
steals the shield, carves it into a surfboard with the help of Merlin, and is just like, don't tell Dad.
now. Okay then.
And meanwhile, every time you see her with King Arthur, she's like, is that my... Nope.
Heh.
Like, every time she's asked. Well, they're asked because they don't want to be called he or she because their gender is knight.
I also remember there was a scene that summer event where Saber was like, well, we're on a deserted island. We need to get food. I guess I'll hunt." And they're like, and the players just fall like, "Okay." And then she sees a deer, so I was like, and she's gonna just use her big MP and blow up half the forest. So like, "Well, what are you doing?" And he says, "Well, this is how I hunt."
Yeah.
when he first said like water Gatling gun, my brain immediately like went to the Singrin Kaguya like beach battle royale sort of thing. It was like basically like Dynasty Warriors, but with like female shinobi things, and they have this one woman like Daijori. I don't know how to say her name, but she's basically just this tall, buff woman who looks like Jotaro from JoJo Part 3.
Oh
and she
no.
just carries around a big old fucking water Gatling gun.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But
Who
I remember
else
also
are
she's
some
just-
weird...
She's just apparently a really bad cook or something, because I remember in like one of the main story things, it's like they kill a monster, one of those big eyeball monsters, and one of the people who's on the round table said like, "Okay, dig in." He says, "What do you mean? This is some kind of eyeball monster." He says, "Yeah, we shouldn't waste it. We need to eat it."
Yeah, Gawain's literally just good with potatoes, that's it.
Yeah, he just knows potatoes. And apparently none of the rest of them are very good cooks, so they just eat whatever they can, and Saber doesn't care.
Gareth is probably the best one for the cook, same with Bedivere.
Yeah.
Is there
But
any
they're not
basis
around.
towards it out of curiosity? Basically faking being someone else enough being your main thing. Spoilers
So
for anyone
basically
else?
cosplay.
Not just
I'm
that,
pretty
like,
sure Tamamu could count.
actually, yeah, she could count as one potentially,
That
because,
was kind of her thing. Wasn't she pretending to be someone else to be the Emperor's concubine or something?
yes, but also, she was pretending to be like, what was it? She was also in China for a while, but with Fate lore, it's basically, yeah, I went there and faked nearly killing everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
Tomomo
trying to
could be
remember.
Pretender. Yeah, Pretender class was from El Malloy.
Caster because it's after that or something?
Caster is just her base class.
Yeah.
Like, just base Tomomo. But it's literally, she's
Yeah.
split up enough that she could be pretty much anything. Anyway, I
Yeah.
think I did the shirt correctly, maybe?
It
Like, it looks good enough, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, I can segment
yeah, I like
it.
Am I the only one who's scared in Fate if Amaterasu shows up? Because apparently her power is like fucking just insane.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think she showed up once in like one of those
Fate
free
Extra.
games. I don't remember the specifics, but basically it's like the player falls asleep, they see Amaterasu, and she's like, "Why shouldn't I just obliterate you and end all this right now?"
just pretty much
something
think
like
of that one lady from Anor Londo in Dark Souls that you can pledge allegiance to for a thing. That's basically how they sat and how they
Fucking
looked.
Guinevere.
Yeah.
But yeah, she just came off as extremely
oh.
intimidating. And it's like she just is observing everything Tamamo does apparently and doesn't like it, and she's like, "Why shouldn't I just blot you out right now? I could do that and just make all that not ever have happened." And I don't know, the player somehow convinces her not to do that, and then you wake up and yeah,
Yeah.
that was honestly scary.
Very.
Just the idea of that.
So, Fate
Can't
Extra's
imagine
getting
what she thinks of all
remade.
the other Tamamos running around.
Fate Extra's
Yeah,
getting
I saw
remade,
that.
and they're redoing the combat a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Which I really
I'm
want to hear the
actually a little
music.
excited for that because just looking at the background, this seems neat.
Yeah.
The moon cell's really interesting as a background, and it was a little generic before. I think I like the ocean sort of look, but it's kind of could use a little variety.
Not to mention a lot of the music there is like really fitting for oceans and stuff, like
Yeah,
Sick
it's
Home
just-
Sync.
It's just so
Hey.
smooth.
I had an idea, and I don't know if this would be actually good, but I think it would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Fate open world game.
Kind of? Fate Arcade kind of already did that, but then there was also the Dynasty Warriors X game that had Charlemagne in it.
So what I was thinking of was something like Persona or something like that, where you could like roam around stuff, like, you know, kind of like an RPG sort of thing.
Why do I feel like that'd be like Fate Requiem then?
I think Fate Extra kind of something a bit like that. Like you're one
I don't know shit.
at least.
I don't know shit about the Fate games.
Okay.
So if I say something similar, it's completely like coincidental.
Okay.
But like the idea was.
Keep going.
Wait, before anything. Fate Extra CCC, which is the one where BB comes in, is kind of like Persona. Kind of. It has like the whole you're stuck in the school thing like all the entire time. There's a dungeon in the school, the Sakura Labyrinth. Don't look at Fate CC if you don't like lewd. It's a very lewd game.
Yeah.
And you have the whole thing where you have to do favors for like NPCs and like other kind of party members, I guess. Like I kind of guess Rin and the homunculus lady or that. I know for sure Hans is the one where you get most of the side quests from. Like after you defeat a boss, you just go up to him and it's like he goes through like all the spiel about lore. But yeah, CCC is the one that is the most like Persona in all honesty. Just add in basically multiple servant summoning of Chaldea, and you have a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, the idea was kind of like.
Is that the one with bugs? No. No bugs.
So, yeah, the idea that I had was like something like you get to like have your character, you know, pick male or female, or you know, and like have like thing of how you want to be addressed, like she, he, they, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea was like you're a mage in this game, this like battle royale sort of, you know, regular Grail War thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, except slowly the Grail War starts to like change, and then suddenly like, oh hey, by the way, these monsters are starting to show up.
Yeah.
Fate Requiem.
So something like that, but like you can walk around, and if combat like, you know, engages, you switch to your servant, and you can like do like a hack and slash battle system.
So kind of like Okami then for the battle style.
Yeah, something like that. Like, but you can like explore the city, you know, go to certain locations, and like if you pick like say, I'm trying to like think of a servant that is not Nero, because fuck Nero.
Honestly, if you were to go through the
Like,
list of FGO servants,
Atlantia, I think Atlantia.
Atalante. Well, which one, Berserker or Archer? Because there's a big difference.
Archer. So
Okay.
like if you get her,
Yes, the green.
the cat girl Archer.
Well, that doesn't narrow it down either.
Let him finish.
The cat girl Archer with the green that was in Fate, you know, like one with Siegfried and Jeanne d'Arc.
Right.
So say you get her and you go to a certain location, like she'll have some commentary on it. Like you can like have like, you know, a bonding moment, and you have like, you know, a social ranking with your servant where they can just fucking hate you, or like be like, you know what, I got your back, you're really cool. But if you have someone like, say like Sherlock Holmes or something, and
You would not have Sherlock Holmes. He's a ruler.
Yeah, he's weird.
Okay.
But he might also not be proper Sherlock Holmes because lore. But hey. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's fine. So say you get someone like Tomoe Gozen or something.
Yeah.
That's a.
She's an archer.
If you go to that same location, they'll probably not like have the exact same like reactions. Like, oh, okay, it's short. But if you go to somewhere that's completely different, then they will have like, oh, I know this place, and then you could have like that conversation with it. So every playthrough would have like, you know, like some new like dialogue to open up.
Huh.
That's pretty interesting. I'm thinking about how that could work with the enemies and everything, and what I'm imagining is the Grail War just went wrong somehow, or someone went overboard. Now there's like undead rising and skeleton people and ghosts and all this shit going
Gilgamesh. Just blame Gilgamesh for everything.
Sure.
That's actually an easy way, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where the undead would come in, but regardless, the point is something screwed up, and basically now the whole city is under lockdown and no one can leave, basically, and they got some sort of magical seal around it so the stuff doesn't get out and no one else can find out, because of course they can't find out. But the point is you have a whole city to run around in and explore and help people and kill things.
Oh, I can expand on that.
Maybe.
I can expand on that. Have it be like there was supposed to be a Grail War, but something went wrong, and there's like an order of mages, kind of like the whole like Grand Order thing, where there's like that huge, faction that is like surviving, and you're a part of it or something like that. You're
Like
sent
Clock
in
Tower.
as so you basically are sent in as pest control. So you go in with like a couple of other like mages and stuff, and it has like all the bosses are the servants that are fused with their masters.
So MASH.
Say something like I don't know, like
Or
Tamamo
wait,
Cat or something.
Lucky. Ironically, you say that because in one series I cannot suggest, Fate Khalid, basically they would install the cards into Magical Girls, like sort of like Kamen Rider style, and they would just get the uniforms and abilities. Like, Tamamo Cat was the one that they started with.
Well, the idea was, it's like if you see like, Tamamo Cat or like, Tamamo Nome as like one of the bosses, they would be like a grotesque fox demon. Or
Hey, Lucky, do you want to see one of the beasts? Because, oh boy, hold on.
Oh no.
Ah, great.
You are literally just saying these things.
I'm
I don't know which one you mean.
I'm just saying, it'd be kind of cool to be like in this like town that like all the civilians are just like, oh hey, you're new, you're new here, welcome. But like behind them is like some sort of like evil demon that only you can see.
Oh.
Enjoy that, Lucky.
Well, show me too. I want to see.
No, you don't. It's
That
spoilers.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
That
fine.
looks really good. That looks, not gonna lie, that looks pretty fucking badass. But I'm
I feel like
thinking
that's
more.
pretty cool. Big tails. Big tails.
6
I'm
ears.
thinking more.
But yeah, no, it does go Eldritch Horror because, well, it does go Eldritch Horror. Yeah, that's like 50 bodies fused to the back of her.
As long as there aren't any giant screaming trees, I'm fine with it.
Kind of?
You know what I was referring to. But,
it's like everything I say, it's like, yeah, it's already been done before, and I'm just like,
everything's
"Fuck,
been
man."
done by something before, and Fate is out there. It's not that unexpected, but,
I'll never
I think
use clairvoyance
it's
again.
pretty good. Just in itself, the idea is good.
Yeah, I just think it'd be kind of cool to have, this open world Fate game where it's, random encounters with, monsters or something like that. And then, you can choose to either, flee or, fight, and that has, an issue with, your servant. Say you get Mordred, they're like, why the fuck do you run away? We could have fought them. And then you have to give, an excuse or something like that.
Right. I'm thinking, what that makes me think of is, when you're playing as one of those fake games, you're always the exception, basically.
Yeah.
Most of these mages are basically assholes who don't understand things, or they want to shut people up, or that sort of thing. And basically, that never seems to. Well, it does happen in the games, but it's never happening to the player or whatever. What I mean is, you never get the chance to be an asshole, basically. So if there's a chance for your bond to go into the negative, so to speak, that gives that chance there, and that's an interesting take, I think.
Yeah, it's there's multiple endings. There's not this is the good ending. There's the neutral ending, the quote-unquote good ending, then there's the evil ending, and then there's just the asshole ending, where it's just basically you save the day, but everyone fucking hates you.
Ah, yes, the 3 natures of mankind. Good, evil, asshole. I love it.
I really like the idea of a Dark Souls style or Bloodborne-esque boss fight in a Fate game. I think that would be fucking awesome.
Are you kidding me? I would love to play the whole Babylonia plot. Just freaking Dark Souls, like, Shadow of the Colossus style. Imagine climbing up on, like, freaking Tiamat's monster form and just stabbing her. Like,
Yeah,
as
that's really-
King Asen doing that. That would be awesome.
Like I feel like that would kind of be really cool for like a game, but the issue is that you would have to balance out servants and such.
Oh,
like,
you
with
would
open
100%
games, and
have
you
to.
would- Yeah, but the issue would be like, you know, like DLC. I actually think it makes a shit ton of money with DLC if you think about it. Like, hey, you want to play as Quetzalcoatl? You know?
Ooh, there's a
Here
good
you go.
picture. There's a good picture. Let me put that in the thing. Here's a good picture.
Oh, are you
I'll put it in
talking
the
about...
post room.
Definitely, I think you are.
Oh, that's a
Yep,
good
yep.
picture.
Yes.
Freaking Florence Nightingale versus Ivan the Terrible. Yep, that's very much
That would
what
be
would be good.
epic.
But here's another idea. Since a lot of things in Fate are like hush hush, don't tell anyone we're having a Grail War sort of ordeal, and like most battles
Yeah.
happen at night, why not make it where it's like a Persona 3 where the dark hour / night is what happens, whereas like you go to like actually
Ooh.
fight around the city. Meanwhile, you
Yeah.
have 3 times a day where you can do stuff. Morning, day, evening.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
I
that
feel like-
actually. Some mage just makes that happen because
Yeah.
it's like, well, hey, if we keep all the supernatural stuff here where no one can see it, we don't risk any secrets.
Kind of like the
So
Hunter's
this is
Dream
great.
from
Yeah.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like really cool. Okay, so I know I think okay, I have the idea of a character that you kind of have to add into every Fate game because obviously is Artoria Pendragon, like Saber.
Yeah, you can't go wrong
I
with
feel
it.
like her. I feel like you can get her, but only as you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty mode on New Game Plus in order to unlock her because she would be, you know, pretty fucking powerful.
And then I have an idea. My VTube studio just crashed, I think, yep.
Oh.
I do have an idea for, like, you know how it is where there's, like, just the joke character and stuff? I want Paul Bunyan to be the joke character that's, like, super duper strong but can't take a punch. Basically, one-hit wonder mode.
Yeah, I think, like, Paul Bunyan would definitely be, like, a very interesting character.
Yeah,
I feel like...
I want to sit on her head
Yeah.
and just let her walk around and stomp things.
You want Kaiju
Yeah.
Daughter.
Yes. Honestly, I just like games that feature kaiju in general, especially if you get to play as them.
Oh my
and just
gosh.
Smash things.
Imagine it sort of like Rancor Rampage style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. And Yang, I feel like you'd probably like, you know, be like super excited but super disappointed about this. Have Marie Antoinette in the game.
If you say she's
Not as a
evil, we'd literally
playable-
just had an event on that.
No, I was going to say that she's not really a playable, like, you know, servant,
No!
but she acts as kind of like another master, sort of like, you know, like assistant, like sort of like shop owner or like management or something like that. Like,
Well,
like,
she
sort of-
does have like a salon sort of ordeal thing.
Yeah, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, you can just go to her and get accessories and things. You can hear her go, Viva la France every time you see her.
Do you know how poor I would be in that game?
No, she says leave
oh.
France every time you leave. Like
No.
you end.
Whoops. Testing. Testing. Testing? Uh-oh. Hello? Uh-oh. Discord just crashed.
Oh, we hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still hear you.
I'm trying to get my camera to work, but it's not agreeing with me right now. Let me
Oh,
try
dear.
hooking it up here. Hold on.
But who else would work in like a Fate, like, let's just call it Fate Souls for now because that's basically.
Hear
what
me
it
out.
is.
If we're going for like full-blown like proper like I will fight this, I want freaking Nobu to be playable
Yes.
because we know that Nobu needs the love.
I mean, they get a lot of love, but...
No, like they don't have like proper game stuff, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, I have
I-
no clue why it's not working. I might just have to go like full PNG for a bit. I'm gonna change the music too, that might be part of it. Oh, Fate, hold on, I got battle music.
Alright, I'm looking at the servant list for Fate, just so we can come up with, like, characters. So, let's start with, like, Saber. Who would be in the, like, I'd say let's limit it to 4 of each class.
Well,
not,
if...
like, not including, like, say, unlock characters, like, get these certain achievements or get X ending in order to unlock this. Like, base game, hey, you know, new player, pick from these 4 servants.
So, I actually went through all of them, like, a while ago to try to go through that. And that's what I did for the Grail War RP thing. It's like, I was trying to find who would be good to include for the first batch. I think for Saber, I did Bedivere because he's just generally a good character. He's like balanced enough to be good. Plus, he's got the very strong insta-hit Phantasm that would be on a cooldown. It's like basically don't use it as a crutch, learn how his combos work, and you're good. Okay, VTube Studios back up. Meanwhile, I've got Chevalier Daon.
As I recall, Bedivere's attacks look pretty simple until he does the NP thing, like he just does some sword swipes and that sort of thing. Nothing super fancy, so it wouldn't be too over the top or anything, but when he does the NP, his hand just glows and he just nukes whatever's in front of him, so
yeah.
I could understand wanting to do that a lot, but now you can't, so you gotta learn how he works, and that's just something you can use in an emergency.
Yeah, and the best part of Bedivere is that if there is any, like, form of, like you were saying, Dark Souls-like thing, if there's any form of online, one of Bedivere's innate skills is buffing everyone's noble phantasms for a short time.
Oh yeah, he could be a pretty good support guy.
So he would be like a good all-rounder to have for Saber. Meanwhile, if you just want to go full-blown, I can solo her, or let me solo her, Benny Enma.
I fucking love that story.
Benny Enma is just the overpowered... She has skills that are out of her class that make no sense, basically. Like, she has a form of the caster's item creation. She has independent action from Archer. She has presence concealment from Assassin. She has magic resistance. She has her own unique skill that lets her talk everywhere in the freaking territory.
I think it's mostly because she's just really fast.
No. She has ventriloquism, which, in Fate terms, she cannot be debuffed. Like, she cannot be debuffed.
That is weird. That doesn't make sense.
Like, let me just check the exact details of Benny Enma's passives.
Okay.
I feel like one of the characters would have to be Siegfried as like one of the starting sabers, because I feel like we would have to have like a sort of balance of male and female servants.
I did pick that out.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing for that. I've got Bedivere, Benny Enma, Chevalier Daon, which can just be whatever. They are whatever you say they are. And Rama, who is a very cool guy. Like, okay, let's see what we got for Benny Enma. Yeah, she has skill seal immunity, and that's from ventriloquism. She cannot be sealed for skills. Like, let me show you what she has for class skills, because it's broken.
I assume it's just her being broken, basically.
Not only that...
The weird cooking Oni's been around for thousands of years. I imagine she's pretty broken.
Oh, Husky Love, thank you.
All this?
There's more.
Okay, the baskets are interesting to say the least.
She's literally someone you can toss into most parties and not deal with any issues.
Yeah, I can see that.
The only downsides, she does not have critical star absorb, which she would benefit greatly from, and she's poor NP gain.
So basically she doesn't get a lot of crits and she can't do her big move very often.
But her big move, well, let's read what it does.
Okay.
Deal damage to a single enemy.
Uh-huh.
And with overcharge, apply special attack to chaotic and evil enemies. And that splits.
Oh.
If you're chaotic or evil, those 5 little bars on the alignment chart, you're screwed.
So if you're both, it's even more screwed, basically.
Yep.
I think we've got both. Like we've got the sabers filled out. Let's go for archers.
Sheet her. There you go. Sorry.
But But as for Beniam, I think she'd be more like a seeker character because it sounds like she'd be pretty broken.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's.
yeah, I mean, she makes food and everything, so I imagine she just has an on-hand heal ability, or she can make food at any time.
Casual reminder that any
thing.
any servant with independent action will ignore some of your commands.
That would be a little... I don't know, I feel like that'd be a very unhappy
They can,
mechanic.
but here's the thing. A lot of the archer servants that I picked out for the Grail War RP for the summoning pool, they're the reasonable ones except for one. We've got Robin Hood. Like, he doesn't mind so long as you aren't like a noble fuckwad.
Mm-hmm.
There's Sir Tristan. He's pretty reasonable. Nobu, because Nobu. But
Right.
here's the fun thing. In Fate, Artemis hitchhikes off of Orion. In this, it's just Artemis on her own.
So... I'm trying to grasp the implications here, but because they're going to be big.
What do you think her wish would be?
The Artemis thing.
What do you think Artemis's wish would be? If she's all alone.
I'm terrified to find out, honestly.
You can obviously make assumptions, and they'd be correct.
Yes, like, I'm either thinking A, she wants to summon Orion to her, B, she wants to go back to Orion, C, she wants to turn you into Orion.
It's B, basically. A and B. She's basically going to see if she can use your wish, potentially.
Right, and she's probably going to listen to you very much, because why would she?
Yeah. For Lancers, I picked, obviously, we need Leonidas. It's freaking Leonidas. How can you not?
Yeah, he's pretty
Like,
cool.
seriously.
Vlad the Third.
Okay, he's cool.
Neha, the sort of Ifrit sort of ordeal. Arash Kigal, because Arash is cool.
Oh. Yeah, I like her.
Let's see. Ryder. We have Ivan the Terrible, because he's cool enough, but I made it so that the elephant thing is a suit. Kets, because we obviously need Kets.
Yeah.
Everything needs more quets.
He's not in FGO yet, but Perseus, the guy who slayed Medusa, he's in Fate Strange
Ooh.
Fake. He's a rider.
Interesting.
And my homebrew rider, Baba Yaga.
Oh yeah, that one's cool.
She rides two things. She has her house, but she also has a mortar and pestle that she rides in.
So, is the... I'm picturing like that bathtub from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Hold on a moment. And no problem, Husky.
I feel like I know one of the servant boss fights, and I know that everyone's going to just say, "Thank God!" It's
What?
going to be one of the boss fights, and kind of like the reoccurring boss fight throughout the game is Elizabeth Bathory.
No, you would literally have to make all of her Halloween versions, which there's, let's see, there's normal Lancer, Caster.
Hold on now. So, I remember in Fate Extra, she was a reoccurring boss. She fought like
Yeah.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah, she kept on hopping masters because she was a sore loser.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no, same thing. Like, to be honest, because you just want to beat the shit out of her, and I feel like that
Yeah.
would actually be kind of like humorous.
As long as they don't
like-
try to humanize her too much, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, she's
No,
meant to be a
no,
monster.
Plenty of that already.
Straight up comedic boss fight of like the first fight you have with her is at like an idol concert or something like that. And, like, she's tied up a bunch of like innocent civilians.
Oh, she would.
They're like forced. She's like forcing them to love her, and they all have like, I don't know, bombs.
She would 100% do that.
Yeah, like straight up something like, yeah,
Wait.
we have a lot of our like, our mages like have gone missing. We need you to find them, and then it's just her going. But I probably think that there would have to be like some sort of like sort of like twist to the battle thing. I think it would be you would have to match your hits to the
beat.
music
Oh
or
my
something
gosh,
like that.
that'd be good. And she would
that
no.
makes
Here,
me think. Okay, so
I got-
here's the idea. Here's an idea. So,
yeah.
What if she doesn't? What if you make her think you're actually attacking her or whatever? She'll just blow everyone up. So you have to match the beat, so she thinks you're
Dancing.
performing with her, and
Yeah.
then you beat her up basically. But
Okay.
you have to do it a certain way or everyone dies.
Have you seen Friday Night Funkin' with Flick every so often? one of the characters would have like the black and red arrows coming in. She would try to like throw you up, like if you look in the like Dark Souls in the bottom left corner. Yeah, like imagine tricky stuff, but instead if you use that certain command at a time that's like glowing red with blood, she would actually like get closer and closer to filling the gauge to just kill everyone.
Oh.
So like imagine if she like cancels the use of your weapon, you have to like switch to a different one, or you have to like kind of ease off for a little bit. Or, like, you can't move, so you have to, like, rely on the weapon moving you, or you could just use items and stuff.
Also, imagine fighting her to, like, idle music, and you're just, like...
Lucky?
Every time, like, the hit, it, like, has, like, a record scratch.
Oh, we're talking about just, random ideas for Fate games. Lucky, there is a... So in Dicey Dungeons, the Lady Luck battle theme, we're gonna fight her, we've seen it. The last one is so good, but just listening to it slowly get the beat higher and higher. It's in postboard. It's so good, especially in 4 minutes in, because you hear the best idle theme. This is the thing for Rita for her reference for the battle theme, by the way.
Wow.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, I'm just gonna play it.
I'll have to listen to it later, primarily because I'm on the phone.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just gonna play it here. It's so catchy.
The music for Dicey Dungeons, honestly, just absolute bangers.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Oh my god. I have an idea for how to unlock like certain servants in this like Dark Souls-ish like open world game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Certain servants you have to beat with like certain parameters. I think one of the coolest ones would probably be like Leonidas. Like you have to fight like a monstrous Leonidas, where it's like straight up Yorm the Giant from Dark Souls 3.
Ooh, yes.
And you have to beat him without taking a single hit of damage to unlock him.
You can't heal or anything. You have to do it no hit.
Yeah, no hit run. And if you even get hit once, or even if you use a buff, like even like, you know, a food item or something like that, in order to raise
Which
your
makes
attack,
sense because
you will
Fate.
not. Yeah, no, like legitimately it would be like, oh hey, you want Leonidas, right? Well,
You have to train your body.
Prove yourself. Yeah.
Honestly, if you're talking about Leonidas, if he was gonna turn into some kind of monster, I'm more picturing that thing that's like a giant phalanx from Dark Souls 1 and apparently Demon Souls.
Oh yeah, Demon Souls, the Phalanx.
Yeah, something like that. Like it's I can't tell if it's like a bunch of monsters or if it's just one monster.
It's a blob. It's literally just a bunch of blobs. I've played the... Oh my god, I remember my Angry Man playthrough of the remake.
Yeah, but I'm just picturing something like that. Like lots of arms, lots of shields, lots of spears, and just 2 burning eyes in the middle of it all.
Yeah. It's just an angry tumbleweed.
Or like...
I just realized I stole from that D&D video I saw a bit ago. There was a monster exactly like that. I remember it because it was just a monster with a lot of arms that tries to grab people and just roll with them, so it just crushes them over time.
I love it.
Anyway, go on.
I feel like, like when you said that ending, I really like that because you commanded the 300 Spartans. They had like brass shields and like lances.
Yes.
I feel like what it would be is like you get all the little phalanxes, but like the main one, like the big one, is basically Leonidas, but like
himself.
Blob, and it's just like this. It's like this like construct of like swords and shields and stuff. So it's basically like he would like point to like a certain area, and then the blobs would like move in unison.
Oh.
So he's also part of them.
Yeah, and he also attacks, because if you kill all the blobs with the phalanx just kind of like runs away from you, which I think is kind of windy. But like with this one, if you fight like Leonidas, the blob actually gets faster, so it's kind of like, oh, you probably want to keep a couple of blobs alive because...
General RPG rules.
Yeah,
I was thinking if they were still alive and you attack the actual boss, they'd freak out and attack you more or something. Because you just attack their commander, right?
Yeah, basically that, where it's like...
I'm thinking of Phalanx from Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would love those things. Actually, there's a picture of that. Hold on.
I feel like another one of the bosses for like this would.
Is that Reimu with a crossbow? No, stop.
I definitely do know that there's definitely gonna be like everyone's gonna expect Hercules or Spartacus as like one of the, or like even like Lancelot as one of the like the Berserker boss.
No, you wanna know who the good Berserker boss would be?
Who?
Asterios. He gets ticked off if you call him Minotaur.
Yeah, he does.
Looking at his art now, yeah.
Big fluffy
can
boy,
see
but
that.
the first mask is so good. Like, after he takes off the mask, he is chill as heck, and he's actually, like, able to speak, like, very slowly.
So would that just be regular him, but not monster him, because he's already a monster, I guess?
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like it would just be like it for their like monster forms or like their boss forms. It would just basically be them, but just with like heavy exaggerations or like
Wait,
slight
well,
recolors and like some evil like like some like circuitry on their like faces, like magical circuitry or some shit.
here's the thing, we already fought Minotaur, though. Because in Lost Belt 1, he does show up as the full-blown Minotaur. Like, he fully embraces monster. Like, there you go, Lucky.
I remember that. He could still talk, but he didn't have much to say, basically. He said, oh, you're scared. Of course you are. I'm gonna eat you. But yeah, they just brought him and the entire labyrinth there. He just traps the player character in there, and the only reason he didn't eat them is because he's already full, and that was very dumb of him.
I definitely know that Nightingale would definitely be one of the servants that you would get as like yours. I feel like that would be kind of cool, because doesn't Nightingale use like guns or something?
Nightingale uses a lot of stuff. One, she will pick up random things and toss it at you. Like, for one of her attacks, she just hucks a bed at you. Like a hospital bed. But she has... She's got the pepper box revolver. Remember that when I showed you, Lucky?
She also punches you with a grenade.
Yeah, she just body slams you with a grenade, basically.
I have an idea for Nightingale's fighting style.
She does also do, like, a lot of lariats and kicks, too.
Idea. You pick her as a servant.
Crush their ribs or something.
Yeah.
You pick Nightingale as your, like, servant. You just fucking play Yakuza with the beast mode thing, where if it's like you're close to...
Oh, Gator. Thank you.
You like come close to like an item, you just grab it and you just start beating the shit out of people with it.
That could work.
I feel like it would make like a lot. Like it'd be kind of cool to have like environmental like attacks with stuff.
Yeah. I feel like learning with would be very hard though, because like even in FGO, even when like you're basically on the same side, they had to convince her to work with him in the first place by like I think the basic idea was, I don't remember if I'm remembering what I read or if it's actually in the game, but what I do remember is like the idea that is like, hey, we need your help to like fix this whole situation. He says, no, I need to save people. There's people hurt in front of me. I need to save them. He says,
oh, Siegfried?
No, I need to save them. And it's like, okay, but they're just going to keep getting hurt unless we stop what's going on, right? And then she's like, okay, I'm listening. How do we cut the disease out at the root? Tell me. Like, until they make her realize this is going to help more people, she just absolutely will not listen to anything you say.
Yeah.
And that's basically her deal. I also recall she's very fond of that gun because occasionally she'll shoot at people, though not directly at them, of course, just to get their attention because they aren't listening to her for some reason.
Warning shots.
And, yeah, warning shots. I remember there was also a doctor, because this is like in Civil War times, where she's like, no, you can't do it like that. Do it like I'm telling you. If you don't do it like I tell you, I'm going to shoot you, and then I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, it's very much the don't do this or else kind of vibe from her, which I like.
That's pretty much her in a nutshell, honestly. She's pretty simple. But it also means if she's your main character and you're working with her, like you're her master, you have a lot to deal with, especially those people who's going to
like harder.
She's one of the ones with Madness EX, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like with her, like there would be like, an ascending rank of difficulty. Like there's of course like, like hard, easy, like normal difficulties for the game, but like some servants will be more difficult to work with.
I know one who'd be easy.
I think the main issue with her would be one, she isn't likely to listen to you unless she thinks it's going to help what she wants to do. And
Heal the
two, when
world.
she's actually in combat, she's more likely to get injured because she doesn't care about her own injuries, just helping other people and stopping you from getting hurt. So she's probably more willing to do attacks that'll get her in the line of fire, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is like some of them will be like I think Siegfried would be like easy for like if it's like we pick him for the like main like the easiest save role because he did everything that people told him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would actually be kind of like good for like beginner.
Yeah,
And then like you slowly work.
I remember in Apocrypha's master actually asked him what his wish is. He says, "Oh, I don't have one." He says, "What? You're lying. You have to be lying. Tell me what it is."
What would happen if
But either way,
Nightingale
that
met
honestly
the
doesn't want
plague
anything.
doctor? Here's the thing. Nightingale kind of, well, she would probably see the plague doctor as a threat for the ICP one. And not only to like, oh, you're doing everything wrong. This would be like, oh, you're killing people. Oh, we need to adjust this.
Yeah.
And she would basically do, well, the first rule is quarantine. And then she would probably do like, well, how do we get rid of this? And then just like pull up random grenades from a belt. Like just out of nowhere. I'm fashionably late. What have I
don't know where
missed?
she gets her stuff from.
She just has it. Like she's got.
Kind of like how Nobu just summons guns.
She has a hammer space medical bag, basically.
Yeah.
We're talking fate stuff, Yamba. Also, what was it? For the servants of the RP thing, the easiest one that I picked was Kentoki. Sakata Kentoki. Like, he's the one that is basically, like, the least berserker out of them all, basically.
Right. Oh, I just had an idea. I had an idea for, like, one of the final bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it'd be kind of cool to be, like, a whole thing where you have to fight Tiamat, but instead of, like, you straight up fighting Tiamat one-on-one, like 1v1 on Rust,
raid battle.
Sort of thing. Pretty much a raid battle, but the thing is that it's not as you trying to kill her, more as you need to seal this bitch away.
That's what you did.
Yeah, that's basically how it works with Tiamat. You can't kill her because she literally cannot be killed. The concept of death does not apply to her.
Yeah, which you tried to apply it. It succeeded once, but she revived.
Yeah.
So
they pulled a no you Uno card.
No, it's just like with Tiamat. The thing is, like, if she is ever in the world, she's going to produce a flood of just black goop that's going to turn everything into her servants.
More or less, just like xenomorphs, basically.
Yeah, basically. And not only that, she's also a kaiju. She's also nearly impossible to harm. She literally needs to have the concept of death apply to her because she's from before death or something.
Lucky, do you want to know how she died? How we dealt with her?
I know that, like, one specific servant, like, it was, like, the god, like, the King Hassan or something like
first
that.
Hassan.
Had, like, Chris Hassan, yeah, he, like, showed up after, like, everyone did their best. Like, fucking Quetz drop-kicked the meteor that ended the dinosaurs into Tiamat.
Basically.
Shit. And then he just shows up at the very end, and he's just like, yo, I'm here, what's up?
He pretty much does that, but what they do is they literally break a hole into the underworld, toss her in there, and then deal with her proper. Because then you could actually do proper damage.
Yeah, because basically as long as she's in a quote-unquote world, which has quote-unquote life, she cannot be harmed because she's the creator of life. So now she's in the world of the dead, and she can actually be hurt because she's the only alive thing there. That's the sort of...
It'd be kind of cool to have, like, the king guy. I don't want to attempt saying his name again, but basically
just call him Old Man of the Mountain.
Old Man of the Mountain. So Old Man of the Mountain basically goes, yeah, I can defeat her, but I can't access these, like, certain areas. And it would be like Tiamat, like, throwing, or like attacking sections of the city or, area that you're in, where, like, the environment changes, like, all the routes that you knew to get to, like, certain areas are now walled off, so you have to fight, like, all these other minions and such. And then when the gate opens to get her into, like, another world in order for, Old Man of the Mountain to actually fight her, he just jumps in and just yeets himself into the portal as well and just tackles her, and it just launches into the portal and it just, boom, done.
Have you seen his attacks?
They're pretty cool.
One of them is literally him just chucking his sword into the enemy and then just appearing near them and just pulling it out. So, yeah. He would very much do that.
Also, I remember one of his attacks is his eyes just flash and I light on fire.
Pretty much.
I'm not entirely sure what his NP is. It's just like all of a sudden things change and then he just slices and then when he brings his sword down, they just die. They evaporate into nothing.
Well, you hear the bell as well. It's basically the bell of death.
But yeah, that's all pretty cool ideas. I'm not entirely sure about Tiamat herself, though, given, well, she's appeared before for one thing, but I feel like she's also maybe a little too big, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like it would probably be like the place would be like somewhere near like an ocean or something like that.
Yeah, it would have to be for one, but I don't know. I feel like maybe it'd be better go with a different monster or something more that you thought up or something instead of just specifically Tiamat. But
yeah,
I'm sure it could work.
Yeah, because dealing with her again would be like, oh great, she's back. But meanwhile, it's like a lot of people didn't care that you fought Kiara again in FGO, even in like similar circumstances.
Yeah.
Because BB was on your side that time, more so, which was hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like that would be better. Actually, I feel like I know the
circumstance and the circumstance works, and it's not going to bother people.
I realize, like, I think I know the perfect way for, like, the of course I think we all agree that Gilgamesh would probably have to be the final boss because he orchestrates all this shit all the time and no one learns, and he just still keeps showing up being a dick to everyone. Yeah. I feel like the coolest battle would be like something like General Radon from Elden Ring, where you have to like summon all of the NPC companions to help fight him, and he just like hucks meteors at you and everyone.
Okay.
Like I think that'd be kind of cool, but with like his Gates of Babylon or the
Gates of bullshit
sword thing. Yeah, his magical sword gun thing.
Okay, I think I got the uniform ready.
Cool.
Okay.
Anyway, I actually have to go for a bit, but I should be back in like 30 minutes or so.
I'll probably be raiding someone by then. Heck, I'm gonna probably leave soon.
It was good being here.
It was fun.
It was a good talk. Yeah.
I had just some blackberry sage tea. But anyway, so with this one, we've got the usual like slacks and shoes from the other uniform, but then there's also the normal green shirt, which I like. The blue undershirt if people want to wear it to be comfier and cozier, because it's going to get cold. But then there's also the orange jacket, which is kind of like a similar version to the shirt, but it will have like a opposite color scheme. Like, I don't think it needs much more.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yuna's in the right over there. Oh, yeah, Reimu, Marissa, and Sane. They were a fun reference for that. Yeah. It's going to be kind of a cluster, but there's that one for the town mart. So that's a nice one. I'll be just closing that for now. That was a productive day of getting some things. Any last minute questions, Lucky? I'm unplugging.
Not any that I can think of at the moment.
I literally just pushed the button off my mic. Dang it. Oh well, whatever. I really need to start labeling these things.
I don't think I have any. If I do, then I will definitely.
I don't know if I'm gonna eat Lucky. Maybe.
I don't taste good.
You would.
Look, if you're gonna eat me, at least season me properly. Prepare me, prepare me. All right.
No, I'm gonna cook you like Yoimiya's fish.
Oh. I love the fact that, like, Kiching literally just shoves her hairpin into the water, stabs a fish, and electrocutes it.
Yeah. Well, catching.
But yeah, if I have like a question, I'll probably like, ask it later. But I'm really excited for your Fate like RPG thing. Like I can't wait because I have an idea for a character that's very cool, but also very
questionable.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to see it. But anyway, I'm sorry I kind of just told you all the summoning pool.
I don't worry. Like all the I don't know Fate, so basically, like you saying like all these names, I'm just like I know some of these, but I don't know what they do. Like I know, like
You know cats, of course.
someone goes in. I know Quetz. I know, I believe it was Nobunaga. Like
Yeah.
I know the people from history. I don't know what they are in Fate. That's the thing.
So
still am
Nobu's a
mad that
girl,
Frank
obviously.
Yeah, yeah. I still want Frank Canton, the outlaw sheriff, to be. I'll tell you one fun thing about Frank Canton, which will make him perfect for a fate servant, is he was walking to dinner and this guy tried to assassinate him, so they pulled a gun point blank range, fired at Frank and missed, and then Frank immediately, without missing a beat, pulls out his gun, turns around, shoots the dude straight in the lungs, one shot kills him, and there's a joke saying like, "Oh, Frank Canton pulls his gun, pulls out another gun, and then just shoots the bullet."
Anyway, I'll be ending stream here. Thank you for coming, Lucky.
Yeah, all right.
It was really fun. I'm
No
sorry if I
problem.
interrupted too much.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I tend to take conversations, so
It's okay. Anywho, I shall be leaving. Goodbye. Okay. Anyway, now that it's just us, I know it's like just me being here as face staring into your soul, but we're gonna be rating Cloudy Clarity. Because why not? And for those who are able to use notes, she's doing Hades because why not? I want to see Hades right now. I really want to. You just copy and paste this, and we will be going in a bit. For now, thank you all for coming, and I shall see you soon.